All right, here we go. Ready?
You made me expose myself to him.
I like it.
You hear how you cut out there?
You made us record naked so we could.
Yeah, let's make sure we're right on it. Okay.
Okay.
And welcome to podcast 10. We're in double digits.
Yeah, welcome back to the Dylan Gets Screwed 2 days in a row.
Now, due to the fact that hang on. Double digit podcast, double digit podcast.
It hurts my throat when I do that.
In honor of double digits, we now have two cameras, double angles.
We can count.
I'm not good at counting.
Okay, but they can't yet.
Yeah,
so.
but they can see multiple angles.
Babies are watching the podcast right now. They can't count.
All one viewer.
Hey, we're almost in double digit views now.
Oh.
We're averaging.
Number 10, I believe.
Yeah.
All that matters is our plan.
We came to number 10, and you walked in on my party.
Just a quick reminder out there, David Esquire's the third first internet special comes out Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. It's racist.
That's
why we thought it was
it can't
a
be
good idea.
racist if
So good.
part of your team has a Mexican in it.
Yeah.
Which
didn't
one
say
of
it.
us is the is okay?
Okay.
I'm the one who said
It
it.
was the white guy that came up with the Cinco de Mayo, though.
It was.
No, that was me. I was like,
He
hey,
said we should have May 5th. I was
May
like,
5th.
Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah.
Is it worse that May 5th doesn't even register me as like a Mexican holiday?
Because it's
May
not.
5th.
It's a.
And then somebody has to tell me later.
That's the white people's celebration.
I
of Mexican
imagine
holiday.
Okay.
the legend of Coco.
Like the real independence, like Mexico is like June.
I didn't know Cinco de Mayo was Independence Day. I thought it was
It's
Day of the
not.
Dead.
It's no.
No,
Day of the Dead
is
is not the same
right
thing.
in
Cinco de Mayo, Day of the Dead.
No, Cinco de Mayo is
They walk
when,
around in skeletons.
No, that's not the Day of the Dead. Cinco de Mayo is a celebration of when the farmers beat the French army.
And celebrated all their deaths.
No, that's the Day of the Dead.
No.
Okay. I'm sure you guys
No,
know. Right?
Day of the Dead's when all the hot white chicks.
Why are the
pretend
white
to be
people telling the
Mexican.
Mexicans what the real one is?
So
No, David knows.
Except
No,
David's
Day-
white.
Day of the Dead is before Halloween. It's like
I thought it was. I thought
September.
it was Halloween on May 5th.
No.
Yes.
It was. It's spring Halloween.
It is now.
Officially, it is now. It's
Friends-a-ween?
That's our Day of the Dead.
Is that what you called it? Friend-a-ween or some Friends-a-ween?
But yeah, no real Mexicans.
I mean, we
celebrate
had
Cinco de Mayo.
Valentine's Day.
Well, we did Valentine's Day. The next day, he did
Halloween.
Friends-a-ween.
Yeah, it was Halloween.
Halloween. That's what it was. Halloween. I'm like, what? He's all like, I don't know.
Fuck it.
I just wanted to dress up, you guys.
Dude, honestly, okay, correct me if I'm wrong again.
You're
'Cause
wrong.
It could be Cinco de Mayo, but the coolest opening in the James Bond films with Daniel Craig is the one where he's at.
The Day of the Dead one?
That was Cinco de Mayo.
No, it wasn't.
Either way, it was cool. Everybody was in the skeletons and like they're walking around, and he's like being all cool James Bond.
That's like right day before Halloween is Day of the Dead.
It looked like it was spring. That's all I'm saying.
It is Mexico, dude. It's pretty bright down there.
It's also yellow, right?
That's really racist.
Let's go ahead
man.
and move on from a conversation we don't know.
Like every time anybody films
That's
anything,
really racist, PJ.
Yeah, what I'm saying.
How dare you?
I don't even know what's yellow.
That's not what I meant.
What part of Mexico is yellow to you, racist?
What I meant is every time anybody goes to Mexico in a
Shame.
movie, they shade it yellow.
Because the water is yellow.
You know what I'm
I believe
talking
that's
about.
I think it's because of the
Galveston.
atmosphere, like
You
California.
know what I'm talking about. It's like
I don't know. I think you're just making it
I
up.
can go make
Your
a bunch of-
prejudice is showing.
I can go pull up a bunch of examples of like them like, oh, we're going
have
down to
a
Mexico
laptop.
now, and the whole screen is tinted like a hue of like orangish yellow every time they go to Mexico in any movie. Not any movie. There's obviously exceptions, but it's kind of a trope. You know what I'm talking about too. You watch movies all the time.
Yes. I said yes. Please don't yell at me. Please, I agree with you, and he's not.
No, it
I
only
think-
sounds like it's yelling because your thing's really loud.
And Cinco de Mayo is on May. Day of the Dead is on Cinco de Mayo. Okay, please don't yell at me. I'm just getting comfortable with the headset. All right, sound like you're yelling.
You're good.
He can literally Google this.
Did
but
you
he's
just
not going
did you
to.
just force him into believing the Day of the Dead's the same day as Cinco de Mayo? You strong-armed him.
He's strong-armed me.
No comment.
I mean, PJ is a bully, so we
I am not a
established that.
bully. I
We
was a bully
established that
in third
previous
grade.
podcasts.
Can you please just respect my gangster?
I was a bully in third grade, and that's it.
He's like when Will Ferrell plays Gator.
Yeah, he just snapped him.
Gator don't take no shit.
You don't get it. Don't
We did establish I was a crime lord. That's not a bully. They're different things.
Yeah,
He's a respectful crime lord.
Definitely not the worst Kingpin costume I've ever seen.
We've already talked about this.
Yeah.
Moving on.
verbatim. Verbatim.
I'm just saying, next year's Halloween, when I'm a cool-looking Kingpin and Waylon's cool-looking Daredevil, and you get to be the Riddler, It'll be cool.
What?
The Jim Carrey.
You just got voted on as the Riddler in
Because you're
Marvel.
witty.
You just put a DC with the Marvel, man.
What?
What? What's wrong
What are
with
you
that?
doing?
We don't live
Wait.
in those EUs.
And you get to wear the leotard too.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah.
You had me a leotard.
And you're
Green
dyeing your
leotard?
hair red.
It's
Straight
already,
up Jim Carrey.
It's already.
And I'm just gonna be one of the henchmen.
You can be Bane.
I was
I'm
saying you
just
could be
gonna be
Bane,
henchman.
and you'll just not work out for years.
I'm just
So
gonna be.
we can get you to a point to where you just go and like get all skitty.
I'm gonna be the henchman that you guys beat up with a POW. Like we're walking around with that POW sign next to my head, so it looks like I get punched. Kaboom! Sam.
Or it's like you just hold it up.
Dude, that's the best part on The Simpsons. You ever see that one with the radioactive? What is his name? Not Duff Man. What's the radioactive man? The superhero. And
Oh,
they
you're
have
talking
Milhouse- they have
about
Milhouse
the
as
clown?
No,
Talking
no,
about
no. They have Milhouse as a sidekick.
It's
Superhero.
Atomic Avenger.
Yes,
No, you're
whatever
talking
it
about
was.
Monk.
Radioactive Man. I think that's his name.
Nah.
Either way, so
I don't know.
they do the cartoon series and it shows the punches. It goes pow, kaboom, does kazoo. They some random punch noise that doesn't make any sense. Kazoo,
Kazinger.
I won't walk around with those signs. I'm that henchman.
Dude, how good was Static Shock back in the day? You remember watching that? Anybody? It was so good. Whatever happened to that guy?
WB, right?
I don't know what
They
it was.
decided to give us lightning instead.
I don't understand. What
The
you're talking about.
Black
Lightning.
He didn't want to be racist, but
Oh, I'm gonna be
Oh.
playing Riddler. That's all I'm thinking about is how obnoxiously
And
like,
Static Shock
amped
was
on energy drinks and need to be on Halloween.
Static Shock was
Oh,
voiced
you
by
was talking
who?
about a minute ago?
by Jim
Huh?
Carrey.
Static Shock was voiced by that dude.
Jesus
He
Christ.
voices
Oh,
all
the
the
dude
things.
that voices all the things.
Yeah, he voices Hermes and Samurai Jack and
Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior.
no, I know. I'm not racist, but I'm thinking LeVar Burton. I know that's not right, but I want to say it's like I know his name. I saw him in person. We all saw him in person.
LeVar Burton. It's a reading rainbow guy.
I know that's wrong, but
Isn't that the
I
Star
can't get
Trek
out of
guy?
what's his name. Then what's his name? 'Cause
I don't know.
Dude, you were there with me when we went and saw him at that Comic-Con.
That's been how long ago?
I'm gonna be honest. Your family and you kept disappearing from us.
It was the first
me
thing we
and
did
Dylan
that
only.
day. It was the first thing we did.
No.
And
I
I
don't
asked
remember.
them if it was hard to sing and do a voice at the same time.
What, he slap you? How dare you, kid?
Dude, he spoiled Samurai Jack for me. He didn't even say no spoilers. He was like, blah, blah, this is how it ends. I was like, what?
Did you cry?
What? No.
Isn't that show already over?
Yes.
This
It's
is
been
before?
over.
I never got around to watching it.
You remember that whole like
So he
rule
didn't
of like
spoil
learning
it.
things?
So I'm so upset.
Wasn't that like 10 years
ago?
ago over?
No, they did a new season. Everybody freaked out about it, and
Oh.
it was actually supposed to be some pretty good stuff. And then, but they end the series because they never ended back in the day. And so they did like one more season, and they ended everything. And now I know how it ends, and I didn't get to watch it. It's just like I got. I feel like I'm sorry. But I also was mad that I got the Gilmore Girls season thing spoiled for me because not that like I was really into it, but
Yeah,
my,
'cause don't spoil it for the rest of us because the rest of this
My
podcast
dad-
loves
my
Gilmore
dad
Girls.
Loves
my
Gilmore
sister
Girls.
and my mom watched it every day after school.
Hey, don't ruin it for me. I'm still on season 3.
Listen, it's not a joke. My dad loved Gilmore Girls.
And,
to a
and
fucking T.
that's the reason why, to this day, every time that he says Dean, I think of Sam because his name was Dean in Gilmore Girls, and it's really confusing to me.
Yeah, it was.
I like how the guy that plays Dean is also the villain in like one of the shittiest horror movies I've ever seen,
Yeah.
My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, I remember that.
So
and he
bad.
was the bad coach in Smallville. The guy that
He
plays Dean.
was.
Yeah, the first season. Yeah, he was the one that
Wait,
exposed.
talking about the guy that plays Dean in Gilmore Girls, or
No, in Supernatural.
If we
Oh,
say
okay.
Dean or Sam, it's supernatural. Period.
Supernatural.
okay,
There's
so
no Gilmore Girls in this conversation.
whatever, dude.
Oh, I
That
thought
was
we were
a
all
piece of
Gilmore
shit
Girls
show.
fans.
No, it was not. How
Piece
dare
of
you?
shit.
Stars Hollow.
Bunch
Are you
of
kidding
slutty
me?
women.
That's
the-
These
like-
floozies.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't see much of it after was it Seventh Heaven, whatever it was.
It was a good show.
I remember
Wasn't
when.
that the same time?
Yeah, a little bit after. A little bit
Oh,
after.
okay.
I was a Dawson's Creek guy.
I was in the 7th heaven until the dad got busted for all that child
One
touching.
Tree Hill.
You hear that?
Degrassi.
The dad
Yeah.
that was in 7th heaven got in trouble for fucking touching kids. He told his therapist, and his therapist told the cops on him last year.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, he was touching
and,
fucking
dude,
kids.
and then he went and did Breaking Bad after that.
But
That's pretty
what
insane.
about Touched by an Angel?
In the arms.
It just got so quiet that we could hear the kids upstairs again.
Yeah.
Wait, whoa! Don't let them know about the kids upstairs.
We were all
I need to get back to this. Are you
We live in
serious?
the country.
The guy was in seventh heaven,
Dad.
and then he got in trouble for touching kids,
No,
and then he went, then he went and did Breaking
this
Bad.
happened 2
Who is
years
he in
ago.
Breaking Bad?
He's the main guy.
His name is
No,
Collins.
he didn't. No, he's not.
Are you kidding me, PJ?
Oh, I'm thinking of Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
All right, let's scrub all this. You're completely off topic.
First
I'm
you get
thinking
Cinco de Mayo wrong. Now you're taking. No, get out.
I'm
Get
thinking-
out.
You're confusing the listeners like no other.
I was thinking of Malcolm in the Middle. That's my bad.
So the guy from Seventh, the dad, Stephen Collins, got in trouble 2 years ago for molesting kids, and it turned out he went to his therapist to talk about it. His therapist turned him in, and she was like, "Oh shit!" Called the cops on his ass and got him arrested.
I just can't believe you just threw Malcolm in the Middle's dad under the bus like
And
that.
then a fun fact: the mom in Seventh Heaven was the mom in Child's Play.
Wait, the one with
Which is
Aubrey,
hilarious considering the
Aubrey
name is
Plaza?
Child Play, and that's
Yeah.
what he got accused of.
She was.
Aubrey Plaza, or
No, not the new one. God damn it,
we
PJ.
got to stop doing this. Wait.
I'm sorry.
Seventh Heaven.
This is over the top on like the one that was like that. Yeah, the person in
Look,
this.
don't blame me for this. Blame Hollywood and all the remakes.
They did do ridiculous.
They're the real enemy.
Can we just say that looked like Jack Black as the doll in the new one? Like, it's just like Jack Black as an evil doll.
They're getting a second one.
You know, the coolest thing about that was that they set up Leprechaun. They did.
And that's cool to you? Racist stereotypes?
What?
Wow.
The movies?
Wow,
You don't
PJ.
like the Leprechaun movies?
No, I actually love
They're
those.
goofy. I
hilarious.
love them. And
The best one's when it goes to the hood.
Yeah, the hood too.
yeah, that one, and the one where they go to space.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
And he's like a giant in space floating around.
Because they had Heidi. from
Looks like
Toon
Nick
Time in
Gold.
there.
But like, I know the new one was terrible, and it was so funny to me because like,
None of them were good. Like, all the Leprechaun movies.
no,
are
I'm talking
bad.
about the new Child's Play. Like, it was.
I only saw it
horrible.
because of Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, me too, because I love her, right? But the funniest part about it, because I watched it with Robbie, because I convinced him to go, and so this is back when I was still helping him and his dad do roofing stuff, and so when the guy fell off the ladder and just like his legs like broke in half with the bones, we were like, what? We've fallen off way higher than that like a million times, and you don't break your bones in half, like you just, especially on some soft grass, and that was like the funniest thing to me.
Maybe he just had really fragile bones. He had like a pre-medical
You
condition.
didn't drink enough milk.
I don't know, man. He seemed like a pretty like mean like guy, and then he got ran over by the lawnmower. Like, was that what happened? Right?
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my goodness.
That was good.
Speaking of like hilariously bad horror movie deaths, what's your favorite one? For me, it's probably when the soda can machine like shoots Coca-Cola at this like softball coach until like he dies. I think
That's Stephen King.
Of course, it's cocaine Stephen King, which is why it's awesomely bad.
There's this.
I like how
Horror
you immediately
film.
knew it was fucking Stephen King.
I haven't
Oh,
seen any of these.
it's-
I could
it-
just if it has something weird like that.
It sounds like shit. It must be Stephen King.
My least favorite horror movie death. It's not funny. It's just I didn't like it. Actually, not that even was that even that good when we did it. But I scored this horror film where the villain monster dude.
DMX.
No, not DMX. It was like a slasher kind of thing, right? Anyways, like there was this bowl of candy corn on the table, right? And he like put her like teeth against the table, and he like went and like smashed her head on the table,
curb
and
stomp.
the teeth ended up in the candy corn. And I have not been able to touch it since. Like, it was
I-
just
I
gross
supposed
to
to
me.
literally-
I think candy corn is disgusting anyways, and y'all are all
One of
monsters
the most
for eating
glorious
it.
things given
Well, when you
us.
see bloody teeth in it, you're like, nah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same candy corn every year. Like what's left over just gets routed out. and
One
sold
year,
again.
one year we'll
fresh
just
and
run
old.
out. That'd
Yeah.
be so funny.
I love candy corn.
It's the same thing with Peeps. Like they just round up all the leftovers and send them out the next
What
year.
do they do with all that candy that nobody buys?
They fucking
People buy it.
They send them to
Dude,
Africa.
no, you will never convince me that people go through and buy all the Peeps after Easter.
Listen, they send them to Africa just like they do with the NBA championship team that doesn't win. They send those shirts.
Oh,
They
dude,
send
I thought you were about to say they send the NBA team that's stuck to
No,
Africa.
'cause
Like,
they-
you
was
got
like,
last place
whoa.
this year. Here's a bunch of Peeps.
Oh, no, yeah, seriously though. So like,
They
because
do.
they make like for the Super Bowl, they make the shirts that say "Winner Champion" for both teams before the game even happens.
Yeah.
And the losing team, they just send it to like the Philippines and stuff. So somewhere around, someone's wearing Chicago Bears, Super Bowl championship shirts, and I am desperate to get a hold of one.
Go to Africa.
No, right. So you're saying they're sending the peeps to Africa? To
Yes,
Africa?
and candy corn. Anything that
Conspiracy.
doesn't get sold on Halloween, they send. I'm telling you, I know.
He's been there.
You know,
I'm the guy.
dude,
that
he
sent
got
it.
into some crazy stuff at our last podcast about you, whenever that was.
About me?
No, without you.
Oh,
He was talking about. He wouldn't
I'll
even.
hear it eventually.
He wouldn't even like bring it up, like what he was really talking about, because said we would die or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about the paranormal stuff?
Yeah.
Because it's dangerous.
I don't
Fucking
think
around
so,
with it.
man. I really don't.
Listen.
I just want you to tell me all the
Down
facts
the rabbit hole.
so I
with
can try
David.
it and see what happens.
Okay, let's go into this deep. So what happened?
Tell me the ritual and how to do it and write it down.
So when all you need is a mirror, you need to go in your closet and you need a candle. That's all you need.
A mirror, closet, candle.
Now,
All right,
the words-
Dylan's
Sounds
doing
like
this
an
later.
RK album.
Dylan's doing this later.
The
RK,
words that are
R.
spoken.
Kelly.
It's trapped in the closet.
Look, here's what we're gonna do for you viewers. We're gonna do a 48-hour podcast, which is a live stream after
No,
Dylan
the
goes.
fuck we are not.
Of this table,
No,
as we don't do it anything around this table.
After Dylan goes and does his mirror thing.
Why was I
and
volunteered?
all the monsters come
You're
here,
the
we're just
biggest
gonna film what happens.
non-believer we got here.
Yeah, you're the most secular.
non-believer.
See, I was one. Then I've done it. Then I changed my whole.
Well,
fucking life
ironic
around.
you say that, but I'm also the one that's the most interested in like paranormal
That's
and
why
all
you're
that
gonna
kind of
do it.
stuff.
Yes, that's why you have. There's no downside for you.
Listen, let me put it this way. I was a non-believer and I did it, and I changed my life around.
So
after that.
Dylan does the
It
ritual.
Well,
became
I mean,
Christian.
I am the only one here that's a veteran of the psychic wars.
Ooh.
So
Okay, that's fine.
Wait, what?
That makes you more susceptible to
Yep.
doing it.
no,
in the
you
closet.
guys do it in the closet.
I got
6 minutes in
four,
paradise. Or
yeah,
whatever
4
it is.
closets to choose from. You can
Listen.
go outside in that closet. You got this closet, one of PJ's and one of mine,
Well, how about we all just do it at the same time
or the hallway one.
I will
quadruple?
We could have
Fuck,
5
Oh yeah, because
people,
we have 4 mirrors to
5
put in the
people
closet
at
with us,
one
BJ.
time.
Oh man, we got to go
We
into
got to
the quarantine.
scientific experiment this.
And you have to make sure you close it afterwards. or
Do
you're
I get to
fucked.
wear a lab coat?
Okay, so if you don't close the portal, then all the demons come out in the world.
Yeah,
ends?
you,
We're
you
going to do a
close it afterwards,
podcast
but-
in each individual closet with connection tables so everyone could hear what we're talking about in each closet.
I don't know.
No,
I don't
we
know.
just
I
filmed the next one as ghosts.
Listen,
I
That
got,
didn't work out so
okay.
well.
I got,
Okay, we're joking about this.
I got
no, we
Beetlejuice
should
on
do
speed
it. Let
dial.
him do it. I'd let you do it, and I won't be here when you do it.
What? No, you have to be here to
No, I don't
document.
fuck around like that anymore. I do not fuck around.
That's pretty bad if he's
Listen,
that scared.
I am a man who is not scared of anything.
He's a man of
dabbled
constant sorrow.
in the black arts. And,
Yeah.
I don't fuck around with that no more. Ever since that one day.
What happened? Explain to me what happened.
Listen, my buddy did it at his house.
Yeah.
And it was fucking.
He
to this day,
puked all day the next day.
it was scary. Like even to this day, his door, like upstairs, right, his door would open and close. First floor was draft. It got to be a draft, right? So then we tied his. I'm caked in deodorant, bro. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Anywho,
You're looking like LL Cool J over here.
So upstairs, we even tied his door shut and it still slammed. It wasn't making no sense.
Okay.
That he was getting possessed. Well, he's saying he was getting possessed.
Was
I
it
don't
by a
know.
cocksucking demon?
Yes, there's some cocksucking involved.
Is this about to go that direction?
No, but then he's in prison right now for 25 years.
Because of that
Well, it's all
led to that.
led up to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dang, I don't want to go to prison.
He's in prison right now for 25 years.
You're fine with being haunted by demons, but prison, that's too far.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
But he went crazy. He literally went crazy.
Dang, dude.
Well, I think I am immune to that, considering I'm already crazy. And there's a dinner bell going on outside.
It is
again.
not the dinner, but we
It's
forget what it is.
the specific person coming to sell their I want to keep
They're
wanting to
what?
say Chinese goods.
Whoa!
Coming to sell their Mexican
Whoa!
goods.
Hey, I guess all Chinese.
It's
and
still
Mexicans look
racist.
the same.
The Mexican goods.
Yeah, but I do
Hey,
want some
I was
chicharron.
picking the wrong race.
Guess who I got to eat the Mexican apple? I got somebody to eat it. Yeah, he ate it.
It was great.
Dude, he was choking it down though. He's like tears
Listen,
in the eyes.
because it was frozen, so I couldn't bite into it. So I was trying to lick it off. It was choking me. I had to let it thaw out. Then I was able to bite
Okay,
it.
I'll tell you what happened. It's just a funny story. So I was driving, and I saw this
All
this
good
old
stories start that
Mexican guy, and he had this stick, this big stick with all these candy apples sticking out of it, and I was like, oh, that looks so cool, and I kind of wanted to be supportive, and it's a candy apple, so why not?
Support my
and so
heritage.
I pulled up to him, I'm like, how much? Cuánto? And he was like. He pulled up 3 fingers, and I was like, "Cool." And then so I was like, I got my $3 out,
And
I
then,
was like,
and then
"Here
he
you go."
actually wanted 3 of your fingers.
I don't know about that.
Would it
But
be Trace?
anyways, I don't know what he said. But
I just think it's hilarious that PJ knows the least about Hispanic culture of all of us.
but anyways, I give him the $3.
Cheese on his tacos.
He gives me the apple, and it was really sunny, so I couldn't really see that well because the light was in my eyes.
Oh, because it was yellow.
Yeah, everyone.
when a Mexican appears, the yellow sun appears.
Anyways, I got it, and then I saw the stuff on it. I don't know what it's called.
What is that called? Chili?
It's Lucas.
Lucas.
What Lucas is like salt.
Yes,
That wasn't
Like
salt.
a
That was
chili
red.
salt.
That was Lucas.
That was red.
It was,
like
I
a
was
chili
eating
salt.
it. I'll go to your trash right now and re-eat it and tell you it's Lucas. Yeah, it burned just like Lucas though.
Ah.
I snorted that before.
Not a fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to try it. No
It was
thanks.
good.
No thanks.
Isn't it also like lime chili something?
Yeah,
What do
it's
you-
like those
Chili lemon.
beer salts. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, an apple is already great by itself. You add the candy to it, and it's a good treat. But that stuff,
It was
come
magical.
on.
It was fucking erotic.
I don't want.
He did it right next to you.
I don't want my apple to be spicy, unless it's cinnamon, and then it's okay.
Cinnamon's not spicy.
Cinnamon is a spice. It is, right, Mr. Chef?
It's well, stop calling me that. It is technically it's a spice, but it's not spicy in the sense that it's hot. It's
That's not what I
spicy in the
said.
sense that it's a spice.
Oh yeah, I did say that. Never mind.
Seasoning.
No, it's a spice. It's just not
Seasoning.
the way you're using it,
But it's not spicy.
but it is
Correct.
because it's a spice.
I don't know what spices.
The
I know
spice
Spice
is
Girls.
life.
I know Baby, Scary, Sporty, and the one other one I forgot.
Posh.
Gosh, god damn it. So close.
You forget the hottest one's name.
Yep.
Her and
I thought she was
Ginger
a
Spice.
lesbian.
No, she's the one that married Beckham.
Wait, just because she's a
Oh yeah,
lesbian
she
makes
was.
her less
Sporty,
hot?
that was the lesbian.
Yeah.
Sporty was the lesbian one.
I don't even remember what they look like,
Spice up the world.
except for Chloe Heidi Klum. She's one, right?
No.
Heidi Klum is the Spice Girl.
No.
I've been wrong this whole time.
Yeah. PJ's learning
We're like
all of
literally
these
finding out
things.
PJ's life right now was wrong all along.
Everything he knows is
Mel B
false.
with the Spice Girls on the American.
Okay,
Got Talent. It
I
was
get Mel B and Heidi Klum
Yeah.
confused.
Who's Heidi Klum?
A really, really, really ridiculously hot
That
woman.
was the Seal's wife, the singer Seal.
The Kiss by a
Oh.
Rose's wife. She was a model in the 90s that became like
I thought
really
they were the
famous.
same person, basically.
They can be.
Let's look up a picture of Mel B and then look up a picture of Heidi Klum.
Dude, they're both.
And then you can tell me how you convinced that they
You
were the
can.
same.
They're both very successful women in their industries. They put it that
Womens.
way. Womens. They are
Women.
women's. That's how I plural everything's with an S.
Speaking of industries, Waylon finally watched the zombie movie.
On camera.
Ow,
Oh no.
my ears.
They know.
Anyways, talk about it while I fix this.
Train to Busan.
Yeah.
Train to Buskin.
Buston.
Buscan.
This
Dude,
Busan.
Korean,
It's pretty cool.
Korean cinema is underrated.
It was that was Koreans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a
We'll
Korean
not talk
zombie
about
film.
that topic. Let me scratch.
No Kim Jong Un in that one.
We'll talk about that in a minute. The train. Okay, so that was a really well done movie.
Yeah, told you.
It was 28 Days Later zombies,
Sequel, baby. Can't wait for it.
and
Yeah.
then it was World War Z
Right.
zombies when they started piling up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
The baseball team thing was pretty sad. That was a pretty sad moment.
I think the whole thing was sad. That's what
It was
made
that
so good.
score. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest. The score is probably my favorite part of that movie.
For me, it was how the like the early parts of the movie when like they're starting to like basically put all these pieces in place that you know like they're foreshadowing everything.
Yeah.
And like the early stages of the zombies where they're kind of twitchy and stuff, like the way that those actors contorted themselves, which they did without CGI,
Oh yeah.
immaculate.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's one of the easiest ways you could do a zombie movie is just put some red blood splatter everywhere. But they did have the
That's
eye
all
trick
you
going
need.
on.
That's all you need.
Was that white contacts,
Yeah.
or is that CGI'd in?
I think well it could be either or. I don't know. The
Can you
making
CGI
of-
eyeballs like
Yeah.
that?
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
yes, you
They do
can.
it in Supernatural all the time.
That's probably what it was then. They probably just CGI'd all of them.
But I mean, Korean cinema, like, so they have, especially in the horror genre, you know, they have like The Host, which is about like a fish that, because of the pollution in Korea, like turns into this giant Godzilla-like monster that chases down people in the streets. Hilarious.
The whole it was a good one.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix too.
Yeah. You have the new one that won Best Picture, Paradise. It did not deserve Best Picture.
Parasite.
Parasite.
But yeah,
That's
that
what I
was a good
said.
one. I like
That's
that
what
one.
I said. Fuck
That
it.
one was
We're
fucked up.
drinking. It was good, but it wasn't better than Joker in 1917.
It was very original.
It was definitely original. Like, that ending had me fucking
was
shocked.
fucking original.
I
Like,
remember
no.
though. We gotta still watch it.
Dude, the ending of Train to Busan,
Well,
though?
Samurai Jack ends with,
I'm not gonna watch that.
You don't even remember that.
I don't. I
Anyways.
was really drunk when we watched that.
The ending, to Train to Busan. I love it when the little girl's like walking through the tunnel. She's singing that song she was practicing. It was so good.
My favorite part's the piano part while the dad's turning.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
The dad dies at the end of the song.
Listen, most people don't watch foreign flicks.
Yeah,
we're in high class over here.
Yeah, I looked over at PJ. I was like, I have to read.
No,
I never shy away from reading.
By far, though, the best Korean film I've ever seen is a film called Taegukgi, The Brotherhood of War. It's the Saving Private Ryan of Asia.
Yeah, you talked about this.
We're gonna force you to watch it. But
I'll watch it.
Did I tell you about the American dub though?
Is it horrible?
Oh, it's so good. It's so bad. No. It's so good that it's so bad that it's good.
It is though.
You're watching basically a super probably the most serious dramatic war movie since Private Ryan, and it's about two brothers that are on the opposite side of this civil war, and it's really sad. Lots of shit goes on, and then you're watching the American dub, and they try the people that did the voice acting try to do American accents. So one of them randomly has this southern accent, and you're watching a Korean guy try and talk like this, and he's like, "No, brother, we can't fight," and it's this. It's just it ruins the whole film.
You know who does the best English dubs? Netflix. They're dubbed.
They're pretty
English.
solid.
They're
The Russian one.
They're fucking doing real good on
the platform.
You know what would be a fun project?
Not Russian. Is it Russian? No, not Russian. What was that one? Platform is Swedish.
Honestly, I don't know. Did you ever watch it?
No.
Oh, that's on the list.
It's one of the little. It's not Russia. It's one of the smaller countries.
Same. It would be so funny.
Russia would not be the
Polish.
It's Polish.
Is it? Wow.
I'm pretty sure it's Polish.
And it would be so funny to
Delicious
do
food.
You know how they do the abridged things Team 4 Star. Let's just start taking movies and we'll just redo all the voices.
I've been asking him to do this for a while.
But how would you get a hold of a film like that? Without the dialogue.
Cody.
We can just honestly, all we gotta do is get some what's the word I'm looking for? Where it's stuff that you can just it's free
ball.
No, it's it's public domain. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, but I want to do movies that are current.
You can get current public domain movies. Well, relatively current. If their copyright's expired and they didn't renew it, it's fair game.
Yeah.
Sounds too technical for me.
And
I
don't know languages to translate.
No, I don't know how to translate those languages.
No. I was gonna take already English songs and redo them.
We should get our own. Wait, we should get our own foreign films and retranslate them to what we want them to say.
That's already done though. It's already a thing.
Yeah, but it would just be fun to do. I'm not saying we're gonna be the
could
first
just
to ever
Kung
do
Pao
it.
it.
It would just be fun.
I think we should just Kung Pao old
Betty?
movies.
Betty?
I am bleeding, therefore I am the victor.
You shut the ripper. Takes his shirt.
Who are you?
I love that. I love that part where he puts the hot coals on her hand. You crazy bitch. Betty. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
Yeah.
Man.
I used to be able to quote that open to end. Now I can't even remember.
It's classy.
Yeah.
I know it's special.
It was definitely not classy. I no.
The fact that we all remember it.
Yeah.
Classic.
It's no.
Classic.
It's one of those
Awesome,
movies.
but not
The
classic.
first time I watched it, didn't like it, but when I started watching it on repeatedly, just watching it, fucking hilarious.
Well, it's funny because the things that I enjoyed about it then, I don't enjoy now. But the things I didn't get then, I love now.
It's so
For me
weird.
as a kid, the cow fight was amazing.
Yeah.
But now it's all about the, the actual, weird jokes, the Betty thing. I never thought that was funny as a kid. Hilarious.
It's so weird that movies act like that, though.
Yeah.
I feel like
Oh, hey, this is reminding me of something. I was watching an episode of The Community yesterday, Community, and Brie Larson is on an episode, and she's totally likable and interesting and not at all cringy.
It's called acting.
Right? It's weird. She went crazy, man. I don't know what happened. She went insane. She's not fun.
No, she got famous and it went to her head. I mean, that happens with a lot of these actors.
Which one?
Brie Larson,
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was.
She went crazy.
Dude, come on.
He really wants to know. You're gonna have to explain it to him. He doesn't know.
I don't know anything about
Are
Brie
you
Larson,
serious?
But I know about.
Yeah,
I know when he has no
movies.
idea what you're talking
No.
about.
I just think it's
Dude.
hilarious
Crazy?
that she had a butt stump double. That's so funny.
Right. That's hilarious.
That's crazy.
Okay,
No.
if you know, Dylan, are you trolling or you being
David. It's not Dylan David. It's David.
Hey, at least he's not racist to get to, like he doesn't just
PJ
assume.
yesterday just kept saying Dylan David.
I'm racist to D names.
I was using your microphone yesterday, and I was like,
"Oh,
dude,
come
I'm
on."
making out with Dylan." Get rid of the thing in his face.
Good times.
Oh, Dominic, stop.
Anyway.
I was Derek for 2 years in Latin, so
In Latin class?
no, I was literally in Latin.
The culture.
I could see
The
you.
planet.
Where is Latin at? Wait. Like Latin America?
I'm so
Wow,
fucking
PJ.
lost.
You are a segwayer today.
I don't.
You lost me. I don't know
God.
how the fuck
Will you
that
please go
happened.
back and
Okay.
explain Brie Larson to David?
But anyways, so
Where'd you
back
go
to the
crazy on?
important things.
I thought she was great. I don't know what the fuck.
Bro, come on. Okay, look, maybe if you like.
Just don't listen to the guy who thinks Mexico's yellow.
I didn't say that. I said that it's portrayed as being tinted yellow in certain films and TV shows.
Am I wrong for liking Brie Larson? I don't understand what's happening.
You
Man.
can like whoever you want, man. That's why it's America.
I still feel like I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
except for the fact that she would hate you because you are a male.
No,
Oh,
he's not
okay.
a white male, so it's
Nah,
fine.
he's a male living in America who isn't from another country, so she'd probably hate him.
She doesn't know that yet.
He'll
so
just,
she was-
he'll
she
just
just-
bring a yellow backlight behind him, and she'll think he's.
You're saying she got real political and she's being like an asshole.
She got very political.
Okay, I get that. Now I understand.
Yeah, she's one of those
Thank you.
far lefties who's like all men are the devil,
That is all.
and feminism movies fail because men hate us and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know, one of those. I
Okay.
know that not that your movie just sucks. You know.
No, that movie did just suck though. Like I really
Yeah.
wanted it to be good, so like I can at least enjoy it. But it was boring as fuck.
Yeah, I was watching these things that had the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel in it. There was like some animations. I really enjoyed it. I was like,
see,
oh,
in the actual comic books, her character is incredibly unlikable. So she at least got the
Yeah,
character
yeah.
right. Like the character is just an obnoxious, arrogant asshole who always gets things wrong, and then
Yeah.
never learns from her
She's just
mistakes.
a good actor. She was.
That's what I'm saying. She was
it
playing the
while doing
character
Marvel
well.
because
Well,
I haven't
she's-
heard
she-
much.
What
from
if,
her
what if like
recently.
years
Well,
from now she
here's-
comes out and says, "Hey, I was method acting."
Yeah,
the
I was
whole
gonna say
time."
she's like
For 10 years I've been method acting.
yeah, she's keeping the in wrestling. She's keeping the kayfabe. She's playing a bad guy.
Yeah. Well, she
It's
was
possible.
good. I liked her in Captain Marvel.
Ric Flair was really fun to meet.
You met Ric Flair?
I've
Don't
met
even be
Ric Flair.
fucking with me on this one.
No, I've met Ric Flair and Sting, bro. Sting's kind of a dick. Like he wasn't mean.
He
but
looks
he's-
like he'd be a dick.
He's
though.
just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm Sting. Get over it. Like, meh. And
Is
you're
it?
like, bro, all right. And then Ric Flair was telling me about a queefing contest he passed on a plane high on cocaine. So that tells you who you're dealing
That's
with.
fucking Ric Flair. I fucking
That's-
knew.
that's real.
That's conversation I knew he'd bring up.
Like literally, like he's just telling, like high on cocaine in the '80s on a private jet, judging a queefing contest.
That's awesome. He told you this personally?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That was crazy.
I don't know. Something about the wrestling back then is great.
Yeah, it's called cocaine. Like
Or y'all were
that's-
kids.
No, the backyard wrestling.
It's called nostalgia.
It's called nostalgia.
No, I'm talking about like the bloody.
wrestling. Can
No,
still
wrestling
be good.
today is pretty bad. I would at least kind
Today,
of watch
yeah,
for a
it's
second or
fucking
two.
shitty.
We're talking
Back
about
in the
you,
day.
Shane.
Wrestling back then, like I love that Cactus Jack ECW wrestling, where it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
they had the barbed wire match. Have you seen that barbed wire match? So the outer ring of the wrestling, instead of it being
Negan?
rubber, it's barbed wire.
But it wasn't a real barbed wire.
It's real.
Yes, it
no,
was.
Captain, not Captain, Mankind.
Mick Foley.
He played Cactus Jack.
Yeah, his Cactus Jack character. No, it was real barbed wire.
It was real barbed wire because they go through it. And he's like, dude, that ECW was so fucking extreme. Like he had New Jack that would staple the dude's
Fuck
head
New
and
Jack.
bleed
That guy's a
everywhere.
sociopath.
Yeah,
But anyways,
he had Just
they actually
Incredible.
use real
Yeah,
barbed
they
wire.
use-
Like in Japan and Frontier Mountain Wrestling, they actually like would have to go to the
Like,
hospital
you
after
saw-
every match.
You saw Mankind or Mick Foley on the Peanut Butter Falcon. He was the ref.
Yeah, he was.
What's
The
he
I
ref.
thought
missing
that
the
was
ear?
Jake the Snake.
No, he was the
No,
one
Jake the
wrestling.
Snake's the guy that he
The
wrestled.
ref, he was the referee. He was refereeing it. Well, he's missing the ear from a barbed wire match. He got hit with the head with a barbed wire match.
Watch Triple H versus Cactus Jack in a street fight from WrestleMania
Yeah.
2000.
Whoa.
They
be
actually
honest.
legit hurt each other.
I really feel like PJ's never gonna look that up.
Oh, dude.
Oh, he will.
Hey,
'cause
I
we're
might.
Gonna, we're gonna
Like-
force him to watch it.
I will grab my phone doing these right now, but the minute we leave, I'm gonna show you some badass fucking wrestling shows. But then it got real dumb.
Nothing's ever gonna beat the one where the other wrestler was invisible.
Get fuck off.
Did you?
Don't, oh, you're just gonna make me so mad. I'm like, oh.
PJ, did you
So
want to talk
great.
about that one time where you were watching wrestling with a friend of ours and you left the room?
Oh man.
And he paused it for you.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, talk about that.
Okay, so like I'm sorry guys. Like I get there's
No,
merit.
modern wrestling is terrible, so
Like,
I don't
yeah.
blame you.
So anyways, I don't know, it's just one of those things. Like I've just never really been into it, even like back in like when I was younger and stuff. And anyway, so my friend Shane, who we've talked about plenty of times, like he loves it, and his girlfriend loves it too. And so one day they were like, "Oh yeah, it's Sunday." I was staying there for a couple of weeks, I think, and he was like, "Yeah, it's Sunday. We're gonna watch one of the like WrestleMania or something. I don't know what it was." And I was like, "All right, whatever, you know."
Only the biggest event of the year.
We're not doing anything else. I'll just sit here and watch it with you. So I got so bored. Like, but this one guy was kind of cool. His name was Samosa Joe.
Oh, Samoa Joe. Oh, these are pretty recent.
Is it not? Okay, Samoa Joe.
Samosa Josa?
Mimosa.
Really, BJ? Really?
Either way, I thought he was kind of funny. But
He's awesome, yes. But
but-
Samosa?
anyways, so I was getting so bored, and so I was like, I got an idea. I'm just gonna go.
Was he gonna beat him for brunch?
I don't know, man. And I was like, I'm just gonna go. I said I had to go to the restaurant. Like, get out of here and like miss 30 minutes of it. I'll just sit there and text. So I didn't even go to the restaurant. I just went to the other room and it was on my phone. And I was like, yeah, this is about the amount of time it takes to take a dump. So let me go back out. And I go back out and they were just sitting there.
They paused
not
it
even
30
talking.
minutes.
They're just kind of sitting there, like kind of looking at their phones.
Oh,
and they're like, oh, hey, he's back. Let's go again. I was like, oh, man.
Listen, the early 2000s was real good, especially whenever Mankind they're in the Hell in a Cell match and
Where he literally almost died?
He almost died. He went through the fucking the cell and he went through the fucking mat and he wasn't supposed to. He crawled out from under there and blew his teeth
Oh yeah,
out of
his
his
tooth
nose.
is in his nose.
So he blew him out of his nose, and they thought that he was dead. Like everybody ran out there.
I
Like,
remember watching that live as a kid, and like he was dead. He was murdered.
And he
Like
comes out
Undertaker
there.
straight up sacrificed this guy to hell.
because it wasn't supposed to break.
Well, it was supposed to break, but not like that. Like
Yeah.
it was planned, but it wasn't planned to go as badly as that.
Because
Like
he went right
it was
through
a
the fucking
botch.
ring, dude. It was fucking
And he just
great.
died. Like he was supposed to go through a choke slam and just land on the mat and be
But the mat
knocked
broke.
out. But the cage broke way faster than it was supposed to, but it broke in a way that it wasn't supposed to. So he just like
Fell, like, not a planned fall, and went boom, boom, right through the thing. The crumbs out there. And
dead.
Like he knocked out. Like even the Undertaker crawls down there. They're still trying to act this out.
Yeah,
He crawls
because
down
you
there
don't
and
want to
tries
just
tell
be
him,
like,
"Are
yeah.
you okay?" And he's like unconscious.
Yeah.
Wakes up and blows his teeth out of his nose and starts smiling on the camera.
Because he's fucking awesome. That's why Mick
Yeah.
Foley's the great
Nope.
and he's just like a really chill dude in real life.
Dude, I'm
Like,
surprised he. Does
I would
not
love to
have
see a
CTE.
clip of that, actually. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
he doesn't have CTE because he said it's because he writes books. He said the only reason why
Only
he's
one
not-
of which is good.
the only reason he doesn't have that ring is because he's real intelligent. So whenever he quit wrestling, he started writing, and he wrote because he knew something was fucked up with him because he liked the pain so much. So then he just started writing books, and he's put like probably 5 New York bestsellers.
Only one of them's actually worth reading though.
Which one?
The
Beyond
first
Mat
one.
Yeah,
the first
like-
one. But his stand-up, terrible. It's so bad.
At least he does it.
Yeah, he tries to
Yeah,
he
right.
tries to keep his mind going because he knows he's fucked
He was
up in
also
head.
the host of Robot Wars, if you remember that.
I remember
Oh,
Robot Wars.
yeah.
I remember wanting it to be a lot more than it was.
Yeah.
Dude, like, okay, so like,
People versus
I-
versus
It was
robots.
just Roombas fighting each other.
I don't know where the
Which
difference
is
was.
metal as fuck.
Roombas with hammers.
So I don't
like it.
I don't know where the difference came, but like Richie, my brother, he loved wrestling growing up. Like I remember when he got his first wrestling game, he was like hooked on it because okay, I know
Wrestling 64?
it's gonna be one of those things, but
I
like
don't believe that's the title.
we weren't particularly. That was one of the things we weren't particularly
That's the title
allowed
of
to
all
watch.
WWF No Mercy.
Either way it was.
Zelda 64.
That's not something that we were like freely able
Mario
to go watch.
64.
And then
That's
so
that's
what-
actually the main reason why I got into it is
Yeah.
because it got edgy and my parents were like, "No, Jesus wouldn't like that," and I'm like, "Well, I do."
Yeah, seriously, I remember my brother getting a game, and then he was like, "Oh, it's not bad." And I'm like, "Oh, fine, you can rent it." And then because we had to rent games back then, you know, and he got it, and he was like addicted. He was hooked, you know. And then we got a little older, and they didn't care as much anymore, so he started watching it. But I just was never into it. I don't know.
Can we talk about the Blockbuster exclusives and how shit they were?
What are the exclusives of Blockbuster?
So the ones I remember distinctly.
It's funny how you think that I had a Blockbuster near me. But go ahead.
You was going to Hollywood videos and Crow videos, weren't you?
No, I had
Daily
videos. I had
video.
videos tonight. Shout out. They're long gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say that place that doesn't exist. Dude, You know how they had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and how dope that was when it first came out? Well, they had a Razor scooter version that you could only get at Blockbuster. And so instead of Tony Hawk, it was like some doofus on a Razor scooter.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible. Great game.
And instead of Mortal Kombat, they had one called Clay Fighter.
That's a great game.
63 and a third. And you played as claymation, like random generic characters, and one of them was Earthworm Jim, and you would kill people as them. It was great.
Yeah, Clay Fighter was
earlier before the podcast started, you were talking about how, the landscape is of video games today versus when we were growing up. And I will say, though I don't completely agree with you, one of the things that doesn't exist in, like, modern age, obviously the whole renting paradigm doesn't exist, but one thing that couldn't have happened back then that is kind of a thing that happens now is you could never just go rent a game and plug it in and play. Because you'd have to plug it in, download it all. But back then, you could just go and like get the game, put it in the thing, and then play it, and it was fun.
You used to be able to rent the whole system too.
Yeah,
yeah. Because I had a Sega and I wanted to play Nintendo. I could rent an N64 at Blockbuster and get the game.
One of the things I miss the most though is how hyped you would be for demo discs.
Right.
Nothing beats the original PlayStation demo disc. Like especially when you go to Pizza Hut and you get like
Lara
Lara Croft and all this other random stuff on a disc.
I liked it.
I just remember so it was always like a little dance I had to do with my mom and dad, right? When we went to Videos Tonight, which is the old place in Clifton, right? And we'd get there and he'd be like, before we left, he was like, no games. We're going to go rent one movie and then we're going to get out of there. And so we'd show up and I'd be walking around because, there was a little sections in the game section over there. And he'd be like, you better stay over here because he didn't want me to go look at anything. And I'd get over there. And then, because he's like, again, my dad's one of those guys too. I know it's a small town, but he knew everybody. So I would always wait till he was in the middle of a conversation with somebody, that he's like, hey, what's up? Being real personal. And I'd be like, hey, can I rent a game?
Does he do the robot thing?
Yeah, he does.
He just talks like this.
He's
Anyways, I'd be like, hey, can I rent a game? And he was always in mid.
Cyborg.
He was always in mid conversation, I'm having fun, And he was like, whatever, fine. And then I would go get a game. And it was like a thing. I had it down to a T. And I had to teach Reggie how to do that.
But do you remember how disappointing it was when you rented a movie or a game and it was just shit?
Bad, right?
Like there was nothing worse.
We actually
had a gamble every time.
We actually had a pretty good guy that worked there that was good at recommending stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always cool, man. It was so cool going in there. And I remember when I had to convince my parents that a movie was gonna be okay to watch. They're like, I don't know about that one. I'm reading the back here. And they're like, oh, I promise it's fine. And then that was one of those things.
I'll never forget how disappointed I was. So it was my 7th birthday party, and we went to go rent movies, and I was so hyped for the idea of watching Godzilla vs. King Kong, and we rented that shit, and I put it on, and it's one of the worst films I've ever seen. It is the worst special effects. The storyline makes no sense. He just kind of dances. The fight scenes were just the most
I enjoyed it.
it was the worst episode of Power Rangers, and I was just heartbroken.
There's no bad episodes of Power Rangers.
No, it depends on the Power Rangers. Which Power Rangers we're talking about?
Even up to right now.
It's I recorded daily.
Fucking
Mighty
Morphins every day.
Mighty Morphin was dope, but as soon as they turned it into the ninjas and replaced all the original Ninja Turtles, that's when it got crap. But then they had an awesome crossover episode where they fought the Ninja Turtles. That was lit. And Raphael was going to kill the Red Ranger.
Yeah.
Until my boy Donatello stepped in and stopped him.
So
then
Dylan was 18.
They turned 29.
And then they remade all of my childhood. It just murdered it.
Aww.
Do you guys remember going back to the video rental system? Do you remember? I don't know how Blockbuster was laid out, but we had the stereotypical adult section in the corner,
there was, and it was up in the weird area.
So Blockbuster didn't have an adult section, but they had the drama section, which you knew were all the nasty ones.
Yeah, it had all the.
So if I want to go get a peek, you go to the drama. You go deep to the end of the aisle, where you find all the horror movies.
Yeah, Hollywood Video was the one that had the Skinamax type films,
I just always remember we'd get there and I would get reminded, you better not be going to the back over there. And I always wondered, I was like, what's back there?
Don't tell me about it.
Anyway, so Robbie, in my entire life, has always been the bad influence of getting me to do dumb things. Not that this was dumb, but so I'd go spend the night at his house and we'd go to the theater.
I really think we need to get Robbie in here to defend himself.
he didn't admit it, man. Anyways, I'd spend it at his house, and then we would ride our bikes over to. Yeah, actually, he's done a couple of things like this, and he's actually pretty.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's cool actually. That's like an element he's comfortable in, which is kind of cool. But anyways, let me get to this quick. So I would say at his place.
I was just thinking, we could talk about something else while he's trying to talk about this and piss him off.
I mean, it's not going to piss me off, but the
It's
flow will
already
be
making him
weird.
mad.
You're messing up the flow, Dylan.
What flow?
And
The
pause
process.
Go.
I'm just saying, like, I spent the night at his house, and we'd go there, and like, I guess they didn't really care how old you were when you went in. You know, they just went. You could, as long as you didn't rent something you weren't supposed to. But he was like convinced one day that he could convince the person that worked there that he was like 18, and he did not look 18, by the way. And so we showed up there, and I remember he was like, "Yeah, let's go to that back section over there." And I was like, "No, I'm not supposed to." And he was like, "It's fine, PJ, quit being a loser." And so we went back there, and we tried to get some random film and check it out. And of course, the lady knew who all our parents were, and like was just like, "No, like it's just one of those things."
I remember the first time I ever got through my R-rated movie rental. It was Toxic Avenger because on Saturdays they had the cartoon.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, let me watch the movie. It's a movie. It's like this ultra violent, completely nudity in that movie, and I watched all 7 of the Toxic Avenger movies.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Toxic Avenger. It's about a guy who's created inside of a waste plant. And he comes out all green, and he fucks a bunch of chicks and kills people with a mop.
Oh, so it's straight up porn.
No, he wears a mop and a tutu.
He's like, it was a very lovely story.
It was a cartoon, though. It was so good.
It's a cartoon?
Yeah, and then, but...
Cartoon porn? You had to hint like that early?
No, but I was jerking off to cartoons, though. But still. No, so it was a cartoon on Saturday. It's a Toxic Avenger guy who has a mop and a fucking tutu on, right? And he fucking fights bad guys and kills them.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Toxic Avenger. So it's a trauma. They have this place in Denver called Tromaville once a year, and Trauma Entertainment is one of the Toxic Avenger, Sergeant Kabuki Man, Surf Nazis Must Die, Trauma. There's a bunch of B horror movies that are fucking excellent. Like Tax of Killer Tomatoes, where George Clooney was in.
I know that one.
Yeah, that's all about trauma. Like they have a bunch of famous people that started in their movies.
Huh.
Like you gotta.
Wasn't Jim Carrey in Attack of the Killer Tomatoes too?
No, he was in a different one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he was in Attack of the Killer
I
Tomatoes.
think a lot of people were in Attack of the Killer.
But it's off of trauma. Like they find a bunch of A-list actors that are now in all their horrible B movies are in their movies.
Right.
So like Predator.
Predator's a good movie.
with the original one with Arnie.
Yeah, that wasn't a B movie.
They're talking about Dylan's boy, the piano guy.
Adrian Brody. That's Predators.
Oh,
my
he's talking
bad.
about the new one.
No, it's not the new one. It's like 2 Predators ago.
Yeah. Hey, the other new one with Olivia Munn was pretty good.
No.
I don't know what happened. I think he choked
I'm
out.
tagging back in on that one.
Like,
Oh my god.
We
no,
cannot get into Predators again.
No,
This is like the third podcast that we talk about Predators.
It's gonna be the new Lord of the Rings.
Take it, Dylan.
Yay.
King. He did it on purpose.
Go. No, I don't
Give
know.
me a paper towel.
So
I'm gonna talk about one real talk thing real quick, and it's
Real
just
talk.
because of what just happened. David,
Paper towel.
the amount. the,
Try to hit a paper towel. I don't know.
Hand me this fine leather bag.
it's
Like,
my
yeah.
fine leather bag.
that's, the balloons are supposed
Anyways,
to be.
David, seriously, like it kind of it doesn't blow my mind is like the wrong thing to say, but I find it crazy how like restrained you are with like drinking now. You know, like
because that monster is real ugly. I hate that guy.
yeah, I know. It's I mean, it's just crazy. Like, cause like I mean, I've known you for years now,
Yeah.
years, and I've known how much you can drink and how much you want to drink. And just even like now being with us, like we're drinking just a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But it's crazy like how like restrained you are. And you're like you're just having fun, you know, doing a fake cheers. Dude, some people like would like get that itch and just go down the rabbit hole. I don't know. It takes it's character and it's strong character.
Well,
you know,
because I know
which is
these,
cool.
like I could drink right now, then if I drink tomorrow and say I drink like 4 days in a row, I know it goes down a fucking horrible thing. Next thing you know, I'm doing drugs and then have to get myself back out of that. So
Well, we already gave him a little bit earlier, and he's fine.
yeah, I could have a sip. It depends on
Like
what
you
kind
can
of
do sips.
environment. I could do a concert. I could do just a very very chill. Like I could have just one drink.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends on what kind of situation. But if I'm around a bunch of my old buddies,
Yeah,
fuck
that's
no.
what I was saying. Is like when you're around us, you can drink
don't-
as much as possible.
yeah.
It's just you just get silly.
Because I don't associate certain kind of drinking with you guys. So
Yeah.
that's why I hang out with you guys.
And yeah, but I honestly, And I know even with Dylan, I've been saying this for years, how I wanted to get back up to Dallas and like hang out with you guys. And it makes me so happy that it's actually been happening. You know, I've seen you more in the last 3 months than I have
Then
ever.
we have our whole friendship.
And I love it.
No, it's
Same thing.
great.
I've seen you more in the last 3 months
I
than I
just
have ever
learned that your
too.
name was PJ. That's
Whatever.
I mean, PJ still doesn't know our names, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
I've seen PJ
it's Dominic
more for
and
the last 3 months than I
Detroit.
ever have before.
Bebop and Rocksteady over
Whatever,
here.
Waylon. Waylon, there'd be days where like we would just be up for like 2 days straight without going to sleep and
Yeah.
like being up with each other. At least now we go hide in our rooms.
So we actually have privacy from each other.
Yeah, there's like you're talking about the weeks on tour together where we literally are never not next to each other, except to go take a shower or use the restroom.
Yep.
Even
So,
then, really.
You know
close.
that really tells you. So when you know that you're like someone's not gonna like make you so annoyed that you leave is like when you do something like that. Like, you know how long I've known Waylon? Like, it's crazy. Like, and so I don't know. I think sometimes most people just will get to a point where they annoy you and you stop talking to them because they're dumb people. In the end, you know.
I'll be there one day.
Oh yeah.
I'll get to that category
I
one
mean,
day.
we don't get annoyed. He knows I like to argue, so he'll argue with me,
Yeah.
but he doesn't take any offense to it.
You know, honestly, I feel like some people hear us talk sometimes and they're like, "Damn." And but like
We know we're not actually
to
getting
me,
mad
it's
at
like
each
I know
other.
I'm not being a dick. You know, it's just like we're just blunt sometimes. you know?
I just think you guys need to work through your, marriage issues.
Oh,
And just
yeah.
let it happen. You know?
I think a lot of people want what we have. I'm just saying.
I've been talking to this friend person, and I'll just tell you the stupid stuff that we end up doing day to day. And she's like, "You guys sound like a married couple." And I'm like, "No, don't say that."
No, because we all know
Don't
I'm the real man in this relationship.
All right.
We're actually
Yeah,
going to
we-
film a live gladiator fight.
We
between you two.
literally just wait all week
He'll-
from
he'll
Sunday.
do-
with the Q-tip weapons.
Yeah.
It was like,
Oh, Star Trek style? Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
No, are
We
we?
could do like the slow motion, like axe handle.
I was thinking of
punches.
American
Where-
Gladiators.
Dude, American Gladiators was tits.
I was
man.
really going towards American. Like, you have to put on those weird, whatever
Onesie,
outfits
the
those are. The
onesie.
Not
onesie
Dylan,
thing.
seriously.
Yeah, and then always American flag. The guy's from Russia and he's wearing the American flag and he's just like, yeah, I am from America, great.
Get
No.
blade.
Our whole
It'd be
week
amazing.
is just waiting for you to get here. Like all week, we're like, man, when's
They're
someone
just
getting
they're
here?
just like
When's-
sitting on like on the shelf like the Indian in the cupboard movie where they're just waiting for the cupboard to open.
Dude, I totally forgot about that movie. Idiot in the cupboard.
Yes.
Oh my, dude, you're blowing my mind right now. Like, wow.
That's the one with Lindsay Lohan, right?
No.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Me being PJ.
Don't
All right,
don't
continue.
disrespect
Okay.
my ex-wife like that.
Hey, all you viewers out there, at this point in time, if you guess what the theme of this podcast is, yes, it's called trolling. I've been trolling most of today.
No, he wasn't.
No.
That's his.
No.
That's his actual fallback excuse for when he really doesn't know.
He genuinely believes Mexico is yellow.
I've been wondering what you've been looking at while you're talking, and I just
You're
realized
confusing him out that he's been on camera
forgot
this
that
whole
we
time.
Camera.
I was just looking for my phone, and I realized that's my camera. That's the camera.
Okay, seriously though, with this bottle shape, with its gold bar whiskey, I honestly feel like I keep opening up a cologne to spray on myself. It looks like a
That's
cologne
the
bottle.
biggest bottle of cologne I've
That's
ever
what it keeps
seen.
they making me think of though.
That
If I
must
was
be,
selling
like,
that as
insanely
cologne-
cheap.
If I was selling that as cologne,
Like
it'd be
one of the bad like Arabian ripoff ones.
the last bottle of cologne you'll ever
The ones you get at
need.
the mall.
So
you know?
this is
Who would be the actor that is on the commercial for this?
Aziz Ansari. It's gold,
Damn.
baby.
Yeah, I would give it to Aziz.
See, I was wanting
Be in
more
the
like-
gold. Aziz
I feel like that's more of a chart.
Oh no! What are you doing? Buy it now.
Treat yourself.
Well, dude, you should have went to that freaking stand up with us, man. It was so
I wanted
funny.
to.
One of the best. I think
Okay,
he was
like-
busy with
no,
a certain person.
No. What happened that day is we did it so last minute. It was
What
literally
Oh,
year
it's
was-
PJ's fault.
What year was this?
last
2 years ago.
Maybe
About 2 years.
Because it was right after the sexual misconduct lost his show.
Yep.
shit,
Yeah,
Right after that.
So he was doing the new special that he came out with last
What
year.
happened is we were hanging out at Kim. Well, I don't know. It was when Kim's dad passed away. It was the next day afterwards.
That's right.
Because we were hanging out, and I was like, "Hey, let's go do this," and you're like, "All right, whatever," and we went.
He's funny.
Yeah.
I haven't watched his stand up though.
Dude, it's
good.
funny.
It's really good.
He'd probably be mad at me if I told you about it because he's kind of like weird like that, and I don't want to get on his bad side. I'm sorry, Aziz. I almost told him about your stand up. I know you watched this.
Full honesty, the best thing that he has going for him is the show that he's neglecting. Actually, I don't think Netflix wants to
No,
back
they
the
canceled
Me
it.
Too
They
movement.
took him away from it.
But that's his best thing he has because it's
Don't
serious
Netflix.
and comedy. You
Yeah,
get
Master
both.
of None.
Because I love his
You've
comedy.
seen it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched that
I
too.
love his comedy. Master of None is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like obviously, Parks and Rec is a great ensemble comedy, you know,
For sure.
and he does very well in it. But if you're talking about
Solo.
a thing where he gets to like be the best actor he could be, Master of None is unparalleled.
It was a good show. That sucks that they canceled that one.
When it makes you laugh and have tears within the next scene, it's good.
Yep.
It's good.
And it makes you squirt a little bit from down under.
So
Man,
speaking of the
dude.
down under and like tears and happiness, the
Segue.
Crocodile Hunter, the movie.
Where he has the
I'm
big
not
knife.
even being sarcastic.
We just need to do this podcast on segues.
Like-
woo.
Paul Blart Mall Cop 3.
We did it again.
Dude, if they made another Crocodile Hunter with
I can't stop
Kevin
myself.
James as the Crocodile Dundee,
Shut the fuck up.
Oh God.
Don't even
Okay,
ever
how
take
about this?
Steve Irwin's name and
Okay,
like
how
that
about this?
again.
Crocodile Dundee. Chris
Kevin
Pratt.
James.
No, what they
Would you do it with Chris
That'd
Pratt?
be good.
No.
That'd be
No.
good. That'd be good.
Unless he teams up with the actual Irwin kids, then I'm in.
No. What if he adopts the Irwin kids?
Are you talking
Why are
about?
we talking about Irwin kids?
Are we talking about
The
Steve Irwin?
Crocodile Hunter.
No, I'm talking about
Oh,
Crocodile
about Dundee.
Dundee.
I was
I
like-
said Dundee.
Oh, with Dundee?
Movie.
With Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have been my first
You got
choice.
a knife.
Him,
But
him,
I
or
can
Chris,
see it.
him or Hemsworth. Him or Chris Hemsworth.
I would pick Hemsworth.
Wait, hey. Extraction was a lovely movie.
Boo! You said his
He's
eyes are too close
actually
together.
They
Australian.
were too close together. It was bugging me.
Yeah, look at you, Chris. Just
He had little chubby cheeks and
Okay.
close eyes.
Okay, then we'll use Liam.
I'll tell you another way.
You'll never
Let's
unsee
do
this.
Tom Hiddleston. He could do it.
No.
Or you could get
No,
Hugh
he
Jackman.
He's also Australian.
No, he couldn't do it.
Guys, I mean, his hair is usually dirty
no.
blonde, anyways. Like, whatever, dude. He's an
He's
amazing
not ripped
actor.
enough.
Not for that. Not for that role.
Did you know he originally auditioned to be Thor, and he almost got it, and
Did
then
you
he
know
lost
that?
it.
Do you know that Cillian Murphy originally auditioned for Batman for the Dark Knight trilogy?
Yeah, I did. That's so cool.
Have you watched the Have you watched the video for it? Like his.
No, was it bad or good?
So his Batman
Yeah.
is actually really good, but his Bruce Wayne is like the ultimate villain. Like he's a psycho killer.
Which kind of plays into the whole the Joker's
Icky.
good and Bruce Wayne's bad theory with the Dark Knight. You've heard that one before, right? It's basically how, like, if you really look at everything, the Joker's actions are justified and, like, leaning to the good side. And, you know, the big story that Alfred talks about, how, like, they burned down the whole village because this guy was stealing rubies and throwing them in the river. Like, Alfred and his friends are the bad guys in that story. And the guy that was stealing the jewels was just this guy that was trying to keep the government from buying the loyalty of all, like, the tribe leaders and stuff like that, who were just trying to take over the land. And so they were bribing all these people, and he was like, no, I'm not going to have that. So I'm just going to steal them and throw the jewels away. And the government was like, hey, you got to stop this. So Alfred was a mercenary and a bad mercenary. And so they just literally burned the whole forest down to get this, like, guy who was just trying to, like, resist the government, basically. Somebody you should appeal to.
I don't remember this part of the movie. That's why I'm looking at you.
Oh, yeah,
Is it the part where he gives the speech about some men would just want to
Yeah.
watch the world burn?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's the fact that they don't just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, he's just doing it.
They're just trying to
because-
protect, it's like when you look at it in that lens, watching that movie, on its own, it stands as one of the best, if not the best superhero movie of all time. But looking at it in that lens, you're
Holly
like,
Berry's
whoa.
Catwoman.
Right?
Pretend you didn't
Or
say that.
Daredevil.
I still think
Ben
Ben
Affleck.
Affleck was the best in
Both are
Daredevil.
Bro.
We both know we want to go towards Green Lantern.
Oh god, that
Hey,
poop octopus.
you got
and
that,
like the guy that got stung by bees.
No,
What a
Green
great
Green
villain.
Lantern is one of those movies that almost gets back to Austin.
So I texted
Almost.
Landon last week
More than Catwoman
about the
or
Daredevil going in the MCU on the new Spider-Man.
Yeah, who'd you text?
I texted you.
Oh, okay, go
And I
ahead.
sent you that information about the Daredevil that there's on Netflix.
That they're saying he's actually
he was going
coming?
to, but then he turned it down yesterday.
Why would you, Chris Cox? Is that his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you turn that down?
He decided not. I don't want to be in it. I was like, oh,
You're an
you
idiot.
motherfucker.
You're literally the only reason why you're gonna be
Ben
a member.
Affleck
I'm not
returns as Daredevil in the MCU.
Time out. Like, think about this, Waylon. He's a pretty intelligent guy like we are. He probably sees exactly where the MCU
Did
is
you
going.
just see him talk about how smart they were?
When I
Hilarious.
said we collectively,
No.
Hilarious.
There's clearly a divide here on the table.
Yeah.
This is where the
There
table
is.
folds.
Why do you think I always place you over there, Dylan?
I'm just saying he probably sees where the MCU is going,
Yeah.
which is not a good place. You know, we all can see it. We all see these films they're trying to pitch out. Why would you want to be a part of that?
Because you could turn it the other way.
Have you met the people in charge of the MCU and Disney?
No, I actually haven't. Have you?
I mean, I haven't either, but I
No,
know
okay,
I know what
well.
their
Did
agenda
you see
is.
the new Spider-Man title name? It's
Spider-Man.
the Sony Pictures Universal Spider-Man movie. I swear to God.
They just call it
funded
Sony
by
Pictures
Disney.
Universal
That's
Spider-Man
exactly-
movie.
Produced by
That's exactly what they
Disney.
went
It's not going to be called Sinister Six.
by. Nope.
That's depressing.
That's
so
a
that's
new
not,
name because they talked about it.
so that got scratched.
Dude, yes, it was a fucking horror.
You know, I was watching this video on Spider-Man and how like this guy who didn't like the Tom Holland Spider-Man, which I enjoyed, but I watched this video and then I kind of really agreed with him. He was talking about how that Spider-Man we got is this version of him who's just like obsessed with Tony Stark, and it's like not like the Spider-Man that should be. Should be,
As far as the actor playing Spider-Man, I love Tom Holland.
He's
as
perfect.
As far as the stories he's being forced to betray, not so much.
Yeah, the stories aren't giving Spider-Man whole.
I think as far as like being close to the actual character, he comes the closest. But the problem is the story they're telling isn't remotely Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like some kid.
I did like the first one, Homecoming, but I thought they completely derailed the character development in the second one, and just like one step ahead and then like 20 steps back. Like the kid's already been killed before in Endgame.
That was the minute that Marvel
Infinity
and them
War.
got a hold of it. They
Right.
wanted to bring it, so they just rushed that movie.
Right.
To get
Yeah,
him.
like as soon as Endgame ends, so does the MCU timeline. Let's be real.
Well, Spider-Man's supposed to be
Yeah.
carrying MCU.
And
He's
he's-
always been the main focus. Him and Wolverine, main.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
those
from an
weren't-
outside perspective who just saw and wasn't a dived-in comic guy like Dylan here.
The Avengers.
Not though.
No. It wasn't the Avengers for me
yeah.
either. It was Iron Man.
No. What I'm
It
saying
was,
is
it was not.
not so much
Daredevil. It was-
MCU. You're talking about Spider-Man carried the Avengers.
I'm just talking
general.
about that Marvel side.
Because you had X-Men coming out,
Spider-Man,
and you had Wolverine,
X-Men.
then you had
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man
X-Men.
movies. It was supposed
Yeah,
to be
but
them two
those
carrying all
weren't
the
MCU movies.
And then Captain
though.
America.
No, they were supposed to carry it. It was really
Those
supposed
are
to
the
be them.
carriers.
'Cause in
Spider-Man was the
99
baby.
In '99, or 98, you came
Yeah,
out
but
with X-Men
that
and
wasn't.
Wolverine. No.
But they weren't connected. That was Sony, and then that was Fox.
But those are
I'm
gonna
just
be the
talking
ones that
about
carry-
Marvel.
Yeah, those two would carry. If you put them two together in the movie, that would carry everything differently.
Yeah.
Than you did Iron Man
Yeah,
doing the whole
but
MCU.
Spider-Man's supposed to be the main. The fact that Iron Man got to turn out as the main is because of Robert Downey Jr. That's the only
Well,
reason. 'cause
And
he was a
Jon Favreau.
secondary character.
And because who all owned it. It was all
Right. He was
Yeah.
a secondary character. The fact that that got to be the first, like, outside of Spider-Man's, and Sony, that was, like, the first huge
but
one.
speaking of 80s B movies,
Segway.
Drink.
My gosh, we're going to start drinking every Segway.
you're gonna have to pour me one.
Oh, here you go.
I just high five.
This
it.
one's a little
Pour me
different.
some gold.
This one's a little different, Dylan.
Yeah.
Buy it now.
I'm not.
I'm gonna see this.
Is it like that?
This is-
Is it like? Is it
Let's
as
just
good
give you
as?
this.
Is it as good as his snake oil or
This is-
snake juice?
This is Californian.
Oh,
That's all I have to say about it.
Okay, Californian.
Got out
So
of there
here's
as soon
to
as
the one
possible.
Californian here at the table.
From America.
It's pretty good, Dylan.
It smells like communism.
I'll drink it if
I
you
thought
like.
you could say it smells like cum.
I thought he was about to say that.
I mean,
this was like cum.
This is not children appropriate.
If you haven't figured that out by this podcast, you're
Sorry,
doing
I
something
haven't
wrong.
Sponsored
Session.
by Gold AU.
I
Send
don't-
it now.
I don't know what my reception
I
is
don't
with
like the
penis.
immediate taste of it,
Yeah, that tastes terrible.
but
Ugh.
the aftertaste isn't bad. It doesn't
It's
have a bitter taste.
It had gave me that Lucy. Yeah, I just made a Lucy reference when she drinks the Vegemite.
yeah.
Vitamin Division.
I thought you were
Vitamin
like,
Benjamin.
I thought you were talking about your butthole. It just made me Lucy.
Loosey goosey.
Damn.
Bring
Hey,
it
man.
in open.
I'm like that. I'm like that frog yogurt stuff where it just comes out like it swirls.
It opened
There's
my
some bourbon behind
sphincter.
Huh?
There's some bourbon
There's a
behind
bullet
you.
behind you.
If you want that
But
said.
you gotta finish that off.
No, I'll drink that. It's pouring mine.
No, I'll drink it like a man, sir.
Okay.
But anyways, so David will
Would you like some water?
really appreciate this film. There's a film that came out in the late 80s called The Miami Connection.
Yeah.
And so I've ranted before about McDojos and how like fake martial arts really pisses me off. And a lot of these, con artists will open up, taekwondo shops and their various things and teach you bullshit. One of them and basically the guy that they made, I can't remember his name, but he's basically like the original McDojo. Like he opened up like franchises of like taekwondo dojos. He got so cocky in Florida that he decided to direct his own film about taekwondo. And it ends up being the greatest like shit movie I've seen in years. Basically, they're a rock band, like an 80s rock band, and they ride motorcycles and fight cocaine-dealing ninjas who also ride motorcycles while playing rock and roll.
Isn't that Ninja Turtles?
Basically, but with more cocaine, so better.
Well, hey.
Like literally, like there's a scene where they just had like their amazing Brofest, rock concert, and the next thing you know, like ninjas appear on motorcycles with like bricks of cocaine, and like they have like a Scarface like dialogue moment, and then they just karate fight like shit karate with like stupid like really like obvious like spitting bad kicks that you see a mile away, and then the bad guy will, like jump in front of it to get hit and go oh.
What's it called?
Miami
The
Connection.
minute we go off this, we're going to wrap this.
Oh yeah, we're watching
Dude,
this.
I cannot believe you haven't seen this. Mister, I've seen every movie ever.
I have seen every movie ever.
It's my second favorite bad movie of all time, behind Who Shot Captain Alex.
You know what's my favorite?
Check it out.
My fifth favorite movie of all time? Lord of the Rings, all of them.
Why'd that be your fifth?
I just wanted to take a drink.
I'll just start burning myself.
Dylan, so let's talk. So we watched Ip Man 4. So in Ip Man 4, Bruce Lee is already in America. He's already accomplished for the most part. He just did the fight.
Is this what you guys were talking about off screen just now?
He goes to invite. No, he was actually wanting us to do this at both cameras.
I wanted to do the gym look. No, like this.
Oh, that's the. Anyways,
And I wanted to make sure he's looking at his camera and not my camera.
We have more than one camera?
there's two
One,
cameras
two.
happening. You haven't
What?
noticed?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, anyways,
So anyways, Bruce Lee's in America.
Bruce is in America. It's the fight where he does the 6-inch punch and shows everybody.
That should be your next album name, Bruce Lee's in America.
Right. So 6-inch punch. He just does that, shows him all that stuff. He's not a main focus. I thought he was gonna be more of a focus in the movie. But the thing is, when we were talking about the conspiracy of he was assassinated by the
Triads?
CBA or the
CBA.
Triads, or not the CBA, but someone to do with Asian culture that was pissed that he was giving it to Americans. They display a little bit of that in the movie, where the CBA, the Chinese Bureau of something Academy, I don't know, Association, Chinese Bureau Association. Chinese
Benevolent.
Benevolent Association.
Okay, I
No,
was gonna
benevolent.
say-
That would be the. Oh gosh, dang it, PJ. That wouldn't make any sense.
Well, actually, you'll notice that every country that says Democratic Republic in their name is communist.
It's like putting Chinese non-violent association.
No, that's
No
exactly
ninja
what they
star
do,
throwing.
though.
No
like,
need
seriously.
to come investigate.
Seriously,
Audience.
that's like.
I was telling the truth. This time we're going to look it up later. It's the Chinese Benevolent Association.
Yeah, no, that actually makes sense. They do shit like that.
Don't look at us.
It's like they'll put it's
I believe him so
They
much right
deliberately-
now. I don't know what.
like the focus on freedoms, like no.
Yeah.
Like all terrorists
Right,
call
right.
themselves freedom fighters. Like
But-
no terrorists. They're terrorists.
Back to the thing, right? So you had.
Oh, John Carpenter's the thing. Drink
Oh my gosh.
I'm with you, Waylon. Go ahead.
Back to the
apple
story.
juice. Fuck you. I'm not falling for
No,
that.
no, no.
No, it's not apple juice. We promise.
I threw it away because it got moldy.
Apple juice is gone.
Oh
It
my
started
God.
molding.
I drank that yesterday.
No, I threw it away like 2 weeks ago.
I thought I was hallucinating right now.
It's just the best psychedelic ever.
Smell it.
You can smell it.
It's
It's
bourbon.
okay.
I don't
Just
trust
put it
you
in your
guys.
mouth.
It's not.
I got a
very
guy
soapy.
dressed up as a hipster freaking captain next to me, and you think Mexico's yellow. I don't trust you
It's
people.
bourbon.
Just put
So,
a little bit in your mouth.
Bruce
Just a little
Lee,
Continue.
you believe that he was assassinated by some Chinese people because he brought the culture to America for
Factual.
kung fu.
bit. Continue.
The movie shows a little bit of that, but they end up being friends in the end because the Whitey, they kept saying that too, the Whitey was being
Translation.
racist to them. And so they all bonded together because guess who came and beat them all up except
Chuck
for...
Norris?
No, not Chuck Norris. What was I talking about? Scott Atkins.
Oh, my boy.
Scott Atkins was the military guy and beat the crap out of all of the masters.
Because Scott Atkins is awesome.
All of the masters.
Give me the bourbon.
Straight karate.
Which one? Bullet?
He was doing all like the super
How much
flying.
of that shit is real?
It's a little bit of it at least.
I know
because
there
they
was
do the whole
some-
thing at the end. Obviously, they're pushing
Yeah, I
a
knew
lot
that,
more than
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
But they do the little thing where they give you the truths at the end. Like, this is
Yeah.
kind of what happened. He died in 1972. 1973 is when Bruce Lee died. Right?
Yeah.
But as far as Scott Atkins go, it's just really cool to see. I like him getting roles. I just wish they'd give him more. Is he just not a good actor? What's going on? Why is he getting bad guy only?
Well, he has had some B movies where he's the good guy, but he's not the best actor. He's one of those dudes that's more of like a background guy.
American Assassin is what it was in.
He can act pretty well. He just never gets that like.
Oh, he was the guy in American Assassin.
The guy that's with the American Assassin guy.
Yeah,
he's the alternate guy that gets to go out on the mission with him.
He's in Expendables 2. He's the young Russian dude that's with Jean-Claude Van Damme that kills people.
He's in a ton of movies.
Yeah, he's the only good Michael Jai White movie, Undisputed 2. He plays Yuri Boykin, the most complete fighter in the whole world.
Like, imagine if Chuck Norris stayed as a background fighting character and never got his own glow.
He's probably most famous for being Ryan Reynolds' stunt double in like every action movie.
Okay.
Honestly, if he was back then in Chuck Norris' time, he probably would have got a lot more main scroll movies.
If he was in back then, he'd probably be the biggest martial artist of his era.
He'd be a complete main role, everything, right? And then I looked him up. I was like, why is this guy gone to the UFC? He's 47, 43, 47. He's somewhere in the 40s.
He's got...
As to why it would make sense for him to go to UFC. What the hell just happened? He was a ghost.
I haven't even done the seance yet.
Dude, what was that?
You gotta watch that on camera later.
What happened?
Your microphone rolled it, I think.
Yeah, when it kept sliding.
That was weird.
That was weird.
I'm telling you all this crazy stuff we did earlier.
Well, when you hit that crowd thing just now, I thought it was like the kids upstairs again doing their whatever they always do. That's why I didn't.
I gotta replay that video because I'm gonna rewatch that. What the fuck did you say? I saw it hit, but why it's slick? It's not even wet. Right
did you have like something plugged in? I think you might have hit it with.
Yeah, but it didn't. Look, it's not condensed where it would slide on its own.
There's no like water slide.
So when he hit it, it just kept sliding on its own.
Ghost.
I just wanted to confirm.
Bringing up the black magic.
I just wanted to confirm that I can play audio without cutting the recording, and it worked. So we can look things up now. That's all I wanted to do. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
You should.
My gosh, I'm completely off topic at this point.
Wow, dude, imagine that.
Ip Man, right? So they make an entire. It was boot. They kept calling it boot camp, and every time you walked into boot camp, it was low lighting, those spotlights, and they made it look like an evil American bad guy boot camp.
Have you ever seen Futurama?
Yes.
What's that?
Which season?
Futurama.
Which season?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, you know the Roswell episode?
Yes.
Like, it literally looked how they portray it on that episode in this movie. It was so funny.
Yeah, like it was like, and we started calling out haircuts too, but it was just so like hokey looking.
That's the weirdest thing.
Okay, no.
He's got a Kentucky waterfall.
Okay,
and then
well, let's talk about
here,
this.
He's got the ducktail.
In all concept of
is that
actual
a real haircut?
In all
Kentucky
it is.
Waterfall?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
That's
the
a
mullet.
mullet.
I want to get that.
It's a mullet. So in all actual things, or PJ, I thought I'd call you PJ, Dylan. In all actual reasons of these things, you actually have to have. That's part of culture, dude. So you have to know what timeline you're in. This is supposed to be right at like 1970.
But are we in the timeline where Iron Man doesn't snap his fingers?
Gosh, fucking drink. You're being an ass. Dylan smoked something today. Had to.
No, that was yesterday.
Okay, so what I'm saying is there was Model T cars driving around from the government. Okay.
Wait, but
the
like,
military
Bruce Lee
base
is
looked
in
like
USA, but they're using Model Ts.
Military base looked like it was in 1942. Okay. There were so many weird, like PJ started noticing this, and then like the certain karate guys had haircuts of today. Like that, there was like, okay, that's a today haircut of 1920.
A lot of the today's haircuts.
Yes,
are
but
old
not
school.
as clean like that. Today's ones are more shifted with multiple times and multiple stuff put together. There was multiple people in this movie that had today's haircuts.
And I'm taking this boot camp thing happened while it was the 70s.
All this is happening in
60s.
1970.
This is the easiest way to solve this. Is we need to start watching movie commentaries with the directors, and
some of those are hilarious.
they're not
They
going
are
to
the
explain
best.
this.
Listen.
It's going to be like SpongeBob talking because it's probably going to be put over from
that is
America.
like-
I really want to watch Tommy
Japanese over.
Wiseau do a director's commentary for The Room.
whatever happened to commentary? I don't know why they don't have those anymore. Why they don't?
Well, they do
stream
on certain
no,
films.
I don't know why they don't stream them. Like if
Why
I
there's
wanna
no
watch this,
streaming versions?
why
They're
don't
on all
fucking-
DVDs.
I know, but who buys DVDs anymore?
I think
That's
it's the
the
point. They want you to buy something.
I do not want to buy that. But if I'm paying for shit, I want
The
some
Lord of the
content.
Rings one's really cool, where
Dude,
the entire
God
cast is
damn
sitting there
it,
talking
Waylon, give
about
me
it.
some good-
Do you know what the best one is? Is Kevin Smith. Any Kevin Smith from Dogma, Clerks, all of his commentaries. Like that's technically the first podcast I've ever seen. Because in Dogma commentary,
It's
he-
just a
in the Dogma commentary, while you're watching it, he goes to live video of them doing the commentary. It's him, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and everybody, and they're around the table watching the movie. Commentary, like it was like one of the first
Did you
podcasts.
call him Mac Damon?
I combined both of their names. He was playing a brother in the movie.
I I love Matt Damon's movies.
Are you being racist towards him, bro?
Yes.
What? You black?
I'm just glad they didn't cast my racist comment.
Matt Damon is black.
I said the commentary to It Man. Yeah, some Japanese guy talking. Chinese. Like, I'm being an asshole. I didn't mean to do it.
Taiwanese.
Didn't mean to. Oh.
Hey, can we talk about?
No.
Go.
I was gonna do the Kim Jong Un thing. Apparently, they're so trying to cover up the fact that he died.
He's alive now, man.
Well, they released a video showing him going to visit a what was it? Some sort of farm.
Yeah, he's cutting. They also have one where he's cutting open, like doing the red ribbon cutting ceremony.
Yeah, it's like the dude's been in terrible health. We know he's in terrible health, and he's going to visit.
He's just completely recovering.
I can't wait to show a video of him from like when he was 10 years old. Oh look, he's back around. He's running like this.
He's getting better. His health is growing. No, but for real though, dead or alive?
Well, it's communism, so hilarious.
In your concept, though, why would they defend him being dead so hardcore?
Because they want to make a real-life version of Weekend at Bernie's.
I mean, but what I'm saying is, as far as the government goes,
because they got prepping his sister. They got to prep his sister.
You think it's all that?
Over. Yeah,
it's just the sister prepping.
Right now, they're actually about to have a huge war between all the different factions trying to take over.
So they don't have anybody in control right now. So they got to prep his sister to take over. Because if she doesn't, then everything goes straight to shit.
Yeah, because the uncle is just showed up out of nowhere and is trying to claim his power too. So literally everyone's trying to claim power because
the power vacuum.
Kim Jong Un hasn't established who's going to replace him yet because, as far as he knew, he was fine. And so there's a huge Game of Thrones type shit going on in the background. So they're just trying to keep everyone
thinking that he's alive right now.
Yeah.
Do you think any other country is going to try to capitalize on that?
Yeah, I already told you China's going to invade the fuck out of them.
Nah.
They're going to pull up Russia with the Ukraine.
I don't think any other.
They already sent their people over there.
No, I don't think any other country's gonna do it. I think it's gonna be within, and they're trying to keep the generals in check because now they want to take power. So, and then if they realize that he's alive, I'm gonna fucking put you out of my fucking laser sharks and have you guys killed. Assuming he has.
Dude, power is such a corruptible thing.
Dude, if he's dead right now, that's the even best part is that they're scared. Like, could he really be dead? Do we really want to try to fucking pull a coup right now and not be dead?
I don't think any one of us would not let the power go to our head if we had that much power. You know?
I think James Franco would though.
Says the person who literally talks about being a dictator.
I'm saying I would let it go straight to my head.
Oh
yeah,
you totally would.
I think all of us would.
See, I would pull a Gandalf and I would say, "No, Frodo." That was more of a Sam voice. But I would turn down the ring.
Dylan.
I would wipe out all PJs that existed.
I'm more likely to just do all their heroin and OD.
I could just imagine PJ do evil PJ in some other universe, going from universe to universe, kung fu fighting other versions of PJ, like a Jet Li movie.
The one.
We just happen to be in the universe where the evil one's here with us.
Yeah. Oh,
he's already said it. He already said he wanted to go wipe out all other PJs.
That's what he does when he goes and hides in his room. He's not being emo and weird. He's killing
searching.
other PJs.
He's searching.
Wow, called out.
That's what you want to call touching yourself.
He's looking for all the other PJs inside. I'm going to collect you all in a cup.
This podcast is not for children.
Roasted.
You're gonna say that on episode 10 out of all the other stuff.
What a hell of a final episode.
He's trying to collect all the PJs on the sock.
This is actually the beginning. This is the beginning of the movie, where you find the origin story part, where you see why they become evil.
He's talking about you.
It's just all Professor Chaos tomorrow,
I can't breathe. I need a cigarette.
Just choking the chicken.
Ah, fuck.
All these podcasts are going to be bleeding when I'm running for Supreme Leader.
Wait till I fucking edit all this down. He's going to edit it down to we're just
I really want to see you in one of those military general outfits they all wear,
Dude, if we can find one of those for you, that could be in our movies.
Our
war movie.
Call me.
You need one of that for every podcast.
He gets a new medal for everyone.
Call me El Capitan.
We're gonna have us all in the basic whitey tanny shirt thing that's all torn up and stuff. All the prisoners have.
Yeah.
Silence.
But I'm all bloody. Please, want to sit next to him.
It's okay. Chuck Norris will save us eventually.
Who are you, lone
Delta
wolf?
Force. Delta Force.
Chuck Norris is the best guy.
Is that which one's the one where he basically doesn't uses RCs through 90% of the movie and does maybe one kick? Have you seen that one?
The fuck is an RC?
Remote control.
We're all remote.
He doesn't drink regular cola?
Damn Canadian sodas.
Man, I'm about to end this podcast.
No, we gotta keep going.
Crazy.
I've only got down one whiskey so far. All right.
Speaking of which, speaking of alcohol and us being weird.
We are not going to talk about that.
Yes, we are. A couple of weeks ago, you were on Zoom with like some friends.
Yep.
And we have a rule in this apartment that if you go out on the balcony,
It's a rule.
it is a rule. Like if we're drinking,
Once night falls,
yeah, and if you go out on the balcony, you have to dance your way back inside. That's the rule.
if there's music.
Yeah, and of course
that's debatable.
that is debatable. But
I thought me and Dylan are the only ones who knew this rule because I talked about it with him only, and then PJ magically did it too randomly out of nowhere.
yeah, and freaking Barry Manilow is just blasting on their vinyl like for the whole neighborhood to hear. And so in the back, so you have
Freaking
like this,
white people.
Yeah, you
in the
have this.
apartment.
Yeah, exactly. You have this like Barry fucking Manilow playing while he's on
their balcony.
He's on Zoom with some like
Strawberry margaritas.
like 8 different people, and like you just see me and PJ back and like coming into frame like every second ago, like every couple of seconds with like giant drinks in our hand with Barry Manilow, you know, the Copacabana, and they just have us just like you know like
they think
rain
they
dancing.
think I'm having a massive party, and
It's
it's
the
literally
end
just
of the
2
world.
people behind me, and I'm talking. You hear smashing happening, stuff falling over, people like slipping around.
just screaming, and then like we're calling random people we know, and you know one of us cried. It was me. It was awesome.
Damn, dude.
I want to jump on Zoom. What is that?
It's a party.
It's a video conference app.
This is the new way I hold my mic now.
You can just look at other people and talk to them.
I do want
See
to
their
do that.
faces.
It's basically FaceTime, but for people who didn't realize that was still a
Can I
thing.
expose my genitalia on it?
What?
Yes, I guess
You already
so.
talked about that like 4
I
or
can-
5 podcasts
I said,
ago.
can I expose myself personally?
The joke.
What is it? Chat roulette?
Y'all remember when that was a
It
real
can
thing,
be.
and then it turned into like a gay thing real quick?
And now it's just a porn.
Y'all remember
thing.
that?
So you mean like literally anything?
I just remember like we were all hanging out over at Eric's house.
It's a porn site now. It's called Chatterbait.
PJ
Is it the
knows
same
this.
people?
Why does PJ know
Same
this?
people.
Way.
PJ
It was
Dad-
like we can't
He's
get
just
rid of this
confirming
problem.
the story from earlier.
It's because PJ Dad was in the black arts as well.
Oh, yeah.
Black art.
Just the black arts of the internet.
This is the podcast that never lived.
No. Okay, well, let's move on past this. Okay, how is quarantine going for you guys?
I want to swim in a pool
We can't. Not until May 15th.
every
Fuck
day.
it.
Every
Do it
day,
every
I
single
wake
month.
up, I walk out here,
Put on a little bit of makeup.
and I say a little prayer for you,
That's a good song.
forever and never.
Come on, knock on my door.
Three's Company too.
That's all we kept singing
No,
yesterday.
literally, even right now, as we're doing this
Really?
podcast, all I see is the pool in front of me, and I can't swim in it.
I'm about to go smoke me a cigarette because you guys.
That just
have
makes me think of that
disgusting-
Tom Hanks movie with the mermaid.
You just want to go get to the pool before
I do.
we
I'm gonna
do.
get closer. I'm gonna be in PJ's video.
We're just gonna.
Dude,
it's
there
gonna
were
be
some
like the
ducks in there a
lighthouse.
few weeks ago, just chilling.
Were they fucking?
Actual ducks hanging out.
First line of thought: were they having sexual intercourse? That is,
That's
the,
what it
that
goes-
is the quality
Have you
of the
ever seen
content
duck
that we
fuck?
produce.
I saw ducks today. Were they?
Were they fucking?
Okay. So
Birds aren't real. We all know that's a government conspiracy. Come on.
Okay, let's get back on some sort of
here's
topic.
what's about to happen. I'm gonna say a topic, and we're gonna talk about it for at least 5 minutes. Okay?
No.
We got to be able to do 5 minutes.
What?
ADD the podcast.
That's a new name.
We just call it. Is that a podcast already?
What do
I
y'all
don't
think
know.
about
If,
the color purple?
The movie? Yeah, I'm gonna check out on this
I
one.
think the best part of the movie
check it out. Too.
is when
Joke's
Whoopi
coming
Goldberg
out
just
for
gets
me.
called ugly, and it's just really heartbreaking.
I was talking about the actual color purple.
I don't know the movie. Oh, the actual
I'm-
color purple.
I'm pretty sure
I like
Oprah
how-
got nominated for an Oscar in that one.
I like how it represents grapes. I love grapes. It was the school.
also
It was the color
member
of our school, Tarleton. Whoop, whoop. Anything else? Any other
This
thoughts?
is a weird thing to
I'm
get.
just walking
I
away.
can't talk 5 minutes about purple.
Well, you know what? Come up with a better topic than Waylon. Look,
I got a
Matt,
better topic.
here's where we just look at the camera. Ready? How you doing? It's therapy time. You can say whatever you want to us. We'll respond.
Give it to us live.
Oh, that
That's
sucks.
funny, Andrew. That's not how we would be.
Are you serious? He did that?
Listen, Jerry, we don't talk about that type of stuff on here. This is a family podcast.
Wow. I can't believe that. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely weird. We're gonna get completely awkward. Listen, me and PJ talk to each other all the time. We don't have conversations that we could throw on a podcast.
While they're not here, we're gonna talk about music. So we started mixing, not recording. We started mixing a friend of ours who did a country song, and Waylon and I have different takes on what it should be. And one of the cool things we've gotten to now in our not only our friendship but our professional relationship is that we really trust each other on like what the other is thinking. So I'm really excited to see what he comes up with it because, for a fact, I and Waylon are not country musicians. We don't really delve in that too much. But it's gonna be cool though. You have any thoughts on it?
On the song or on country?
Both.
I mean, there's certain artists that you respect in every genre that I actually enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a certain thing. I don't know if it's the culture that follows it, or if it's the people we would always run into, the non-accepting people, or the judgmental. I don't know what it is. Country artists are some people that's super cool, where you're like, that person's legitimately a cowboy.
Patsy Cline is one of the best.
Patsy Cline is an amazing artist.
Yeah, she's amazing. Also, Dolly Parton.
You know what's crazy about
amazing,
Patsy
dude.
Cline? She actually wasn't like acknowledged for her abilities until like after she died in that plane crash.
Like most artists.
Yeah.
It's no, for real. Like even up to the concert before her death, where she debuted the Willie Nelson song, right? Even up to that, she was still playing in like basic shows, like basic small room shows about the size of Scat Jazz Lounge, and like in the lobby of an actual venue or an actual like in a casino. She was like, "Oh, I have a show in Vegas. It's a big deal," and she flew out to it. It was her flying back from that show in Vegas that got her killed.
No, I mean, that's the story of most artists, that you're not famous. You don't really get your just due until you're gone.
It's just the craziest thing because you had all these other girls going at the same time, but Patsy Cline, I'm gonna be honest, I think she's the biggest of that old time. Like, I'd take her over Dolly Parton.
She's
completely.
She's the biggest.
Well, Dolly Parton was a little bit after.
Dolly Parton's great. They were around the same time.
She's the biggest influencer country.
She's one of the huge, like the biggest, the absolute biggest ones is Patsy Cline, and it's just crazy that she wasn't recognized for her talent.
The one arguably considered, like, for most people in like the actual art world, Vincent Van Gogh, considered like the greatest artist of all time.
Yeah.
No one bought a painting until he died.
That's artist though. That's the typical painting of the painter.
You could say the same thing about music.
I think it's the same thing with
musicians get big while they're alive though.
Some do.
Some, but not all.
There's very few. It's the ones who get killed early days that get bigger later. But most of them have some sort of recognition before that. The painters, you have to be dead
Jackson
for like a century.
sold more albums after he died than he did when he was
but
alive.
He was still giant.
My point though is like he was already the king.
Yeah,
and then after he died, he sells twice as much.
Well, it's because the kids or the adults wanted to show their kids.
I mean, what the thing is, what I'm saying is, like, in the art world, there are the current stars, like we talk about in music, that exist. The people buy all their stuff right now.
Right.
So the what we're saying is the argument's the same. It's the same for music and art. Like, just because we are a little more in tune to the music world and we see these current people, doesn't mean those kind of people don't exist in the art world too, because they absolutely do. There's a lot of current artists that blow up right now and sell their paintings for millions of dollars. So it's kind of the same thing. But
it's a lot less of them that do it.
Well, it's a smaller market. It's one of those things.
Smaller. Well, you can't afford, like, those paintings get expensive. You can't just buy a CD for $12.
It's also stupid. Like some of the best art I've ever seen is at the art fairs, and because they don't have a name, their art is essentially worthless. And
we talking about like Denton and stuff, or are we talking about like Fort Worth or what?
Yeah. In fact, exactly the Fort Worth art fair thing, the festival. I've seen better painting quality from those people than I have in some museums.
Yeah.
And you have people who I think are, literally shit, like Andy Warhol, and I'm shitting on your boy.
I mean, I see his stuff.
He took a tomato can and painted it different colors multiple times.
Yeah.
And that makes him amazing.
I see his stuff, and I get it.
Don't get me wrong, I get it too, but he's not
but
like...
I don't like it.
Well, I wouldn't pay millions of dollars for it.
No.
Yeah.
And then you have, fuckholes like Picasso who literally couldn't draw.
Well, the thing is with paintings, it's one of those things
it's all subjective.
It's all subjective, and you can see it as priceless or whatever it is. I think people are buying art and stuff. The people who pay millions of dollars, they see it as an investment because they think it's going to get bigger. Yeah. They don't actually see it as an
it's
artistic
a status
work.
Thing.
I never understood Pollock. Did he just throw paint around?
So two things. The whole Picasso thing you're talking about. That stuff
He's a
makes
hack.
my not Picasso. Van Gogh.
I'll disagree with
Sorry,
you on
Van
that,
Gogh.
but
It's
continue.
the whole thing with that is my favorite Doctor Who episode. By the way, where they go back
Oh,
and they're
see,
with
I
them.
hate that episode.
You
And
serious?
let me explain why. Because I really liked it at first, and then I thought about it. That episode implies that he is only a good artist because he saw the art that he was inspired by.
That's not Picasso. That's the other guy.
That's
No,
Van
The
Gogh.
other guy?
Van Gogh.
Van
Gogh.
He just said Van Gogh.
Didn't you say Picasso just now?
I corrected myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Listen.
no, it's about the guy that played it
Okay,
in that
no,
episode, though. You see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying with that, but I think
His acting in that scene, though,
Particular-
is some of the
Phenomenal.
best acting I've
Phenomenal.
ever seen. And if they ever do a actual biopic about him again,
Yeah.
that needs to be the actor.
Okay, so particularly for me, even more so than the whole episode itself, just the ending, where like it's that idea of getting to go into the future and seeing the impact that your art had on the world, and that moment.
Oh, I can imagine. Like that it was a very big moment in the episode. But when you think about it, like basically, like imagine all the songs that you write, someone else
Yeah.
To
Make
me,
millions off of
like if he no, because if all of his paintings are supposed to be amazing, right? But if all of them were just put into his head by someone else because they sell them in the future, are they really that amazing?
Well, I mean, let's say if we got to do one with Mozart, right? I'm probably saying that wrong. Beethoven, all those guys. If we got to do a movie or a show with one of them who gets to pop up and see their influence, like how dramatic would that be?
I think influence though is a big difference between influence and seeing what you've done. You know, stuff that you've done.
Oh, they knew
later.
what they did. They were already cocky bastards.
No.
You know?
No. He's seeing all the paintings that he's ever done in his life. So now
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought at that point in time, everything he saw, he had already painted.
If that was implied, I missed that, and that changes
I don't think
things.
it was him saying future things. I think that was towards the
Stuff
end of
that
his
he's
career.
already done. Okay.
Yeah.
If they established that, then that's fine. But I thought that this was basically like I thought this happened before he did Starry Night.
No,
I'd have to rewatch the episode.
And again, I could be wrong, but at least in my interpretation of it, it was seeing
post
everything he had
him.
already done. It was
Okay.
like, okay.
That changes my perspective completely. Then.
Because he was giving up.
Which, yeah, it's
After
just,
all those
just-
paintings.
Just that alone, like it's.
Well, yeah, because he was giving up. That's why I had a problem with it. Is he's
Yeah.
only inspired to do it because he sees what he's accomplished,
Yeah, but I think at that point he had already done all those paintings, and they were just sitting there, you know.
which proves that his paintings were even more shit later.
Right.
I wouldn't say so.
But either way, like so.
I would like to see like Beethoven and like Amadeus and stuff. See like how they influenced the heavy metal genre. And
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
Like,
like that would be
Every route that they did. But
Because if you think about it, that like classical music has progressed in only two ways. I mean, because it's essentially like it's composers are done. Now it's typically film scores, which orchestra is kind of not as prevalent anymore. So now most of like the operatic like big composer type music is usually in like obscure heavy metal bands now.
Well, if I may interject there, so just like kind of knowing like the collegiate like school like level of like talking about composition. So there's this thing that's been happening for years now. Like I'd say since like we were in college, but definitely since we've been out of college now, we're like there's been this separation of like so
Church and state.
right. So like basically. When you're talking about film scores, it's something that the general public and that anybody that is a music lover absolutely adores. That stuff is seen collegiately, scholarly as like lesser now. Even that is like pop music.
True.
And so what they've been doing is they've been at least the composers that are trying to do stuff right now that's not film scores have been trying to separate themselves so much by going like atonal, going never singing the same key, doing really out there stuff just to completely separate themselves from what we generally associate as good music.
They're being
good
hipsters,
scores.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, but the problem is that there's been a movement of that stuff. And I don't want to put a label to it because I don't want to be wrong right now. But
if no
but
one
the problem
hears
is it's being accepted and encouraged by all these other doctors and professors of music. Like that's what you need to be trying to do. You need to be different. You need to be out there. It doesn't matter if it doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
It's intellectual.
See,
like that jazz guy we brought in that one time. What was his name? You remember him?
I can't remember right now.
Atonal everything. Like all of his music had no actual melody that made you remember it.
Like to me personally, if it sounds good, it's good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is like for example, I'm not a fan of certain pop artists. that does not make them not have talent. Like, okay, so I personally like Britney Spears' music. I think she's very talented, but not everyone does. But you at least acknowledge that she's got a great voice, you know? Whereas, like, nowadays, for me, I don't really... The only time I say something's not music is when it didn't acquire talent. Like if someone just kind of goes, you know, like that's not talent. Like you just use into the microphone. That's not skill.
It's a lot of them.
You know what's sad about that?
Of them now.
You know what's sad about that? Half the time that they're in the studio doing that stuff, they don't even do those things in time. They'll go, "Huh," and they go, "All right, let me."
It's
take
the
that,
producer putting it to where it makes sense.
putting it on the downbeat. It's so funny, dude.
What artist is this that you listen to?
We could probably name like 100 of them, man. Any modern mumble rap, you know.
Oh, okay, rap.
Yeah.
Mumble rappers.
Well, and then you know, like, so a lot of people like to shit on people that do auto-tune. I get that in some ways, like, because like you don't have an actual singing voice, but like that's less important, especially if they're the one writing the song.
Yeah.
If you're the one writing the song, use whatever the fuck you want. It's your song.
You know, auto-tune is one of those things that's kind of like a weird word, because like I used to have this argument with Tim all the time. He's like, "Oh, it's auto-tuned," you know. I was like, "Dude, you don't even know what that word means," because like there's like when the normal person hears the word auto-tune, they at least at some point in time they thought of T-Pain.
Yeah, that's the auto-tune that I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
Or cheating. That's what.
Yeah,
like
or
they think.
both
cheating.
those, right? And so like and I'll tell you now, it's no surprise. I use auto-tune in everything we do.
Was it Peter Frampton auto-tune?
Everybody was.
Outside
almost. Of like after like the Beatles, when we actually we could actually create autotune, so all the way up to past the 80s, where we actually had a computer, like so I guess 90s.
Yeah. Didn't Peter Frampton use that thing in his mouth? So like,
when we were
that's not autotune.
So if you're talking about
like
the history of like music production, when we were able to auto-tune correctly, we've been auto-tuning since then.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm talking about specifically the whole
Well,
electronic voice.
that's when we could overdo it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
But it's been in everything.
That's the other thing I was going to say is like when you're talking about the auto-tune, you're talking about the overly auto-tune. To me, it's how it's used. If it's used as a crutch, yeah, that's stupid. But if it's used purposely to make a thing sound,
I don't really have a problem with it as a crutch if that's the point. Like, okay, so pop music.
It's intent.
People like to talk shit about pop music because it's shallow. It's supposed to be most of the time. The whole point is that it's a catchy, feel-good tune that makes you enjoy it. If that's accomplished, then it's a good pop song by definition.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be deep and intellectual, you know, like what people like to shit on certain rappers because all their songs are about, you know, partying and bullshit. Well, like, okay, but don't listen to that if you don't like that. The whole point is you want that vibe. You want to listen to that at a party. You want to listen to some sad fuck like Dashboard because you're sad. It's all about what you're trying to look for. Like, not everything should have the same depth and meaning. Like, that would ruin it. Like, if every Christina Aguilera song was about boo-hoo shit, no one would have really liked that. Hence why Adele only has a certain fan base.
True.
She's got a great voice, but all of her songs are pretty much the same boo-hoo breakup shit.
Yeah, they don't amp you up at all.
Yeah, everything.
Her best song is Skyfall, in my opinion.
When it comes down to it, it's about intent.
Yeah.
You know, what you're trying to do with the music. And if you have no control over what you're really trying to do, that's what separates you from not being a good musician and being a good musician. Like it doesn't matter, like you said, it doesn't matter if somebody like particularly agrees with what you're saying if you're not appealing to that person.
Well, my point is if you have something you're trying to accomplish with said music, and it works, then it was a success by the definition. Like, you can't say that, like, you know, freaking, I don't know, name some artist that people, Nickelback, for example. I'm not a fan, but I also don't get the hate.
But you also know all their songs.
Exactly.
You know their songs.
That's my point. Like, you know, someone had to buy those fucking albums, guys. I'm
saying.
looking straight at the people that talk shit about them the most.
I'm going to sing it. That's how this works.
Spider-Man 2, the soundtrack.
I only know the one song.
If you were to walk up to me, because you and Jennifer are the ones who present me, like, hey, let's go to this concert, I'd be like, all right. If you were to say, hey, let's go see Nickelback or Creed, I'd be like, I'm down.
Don't disrespect Creed.
I'm just saying there's certain artists, like, even though they get the track, if you're like, let's go see Stained, let's go see Nickelback, let's go see, I'd be like, I'm totally in. There's other artists you can tell me, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not down with that.
Yeah.
You know, but those are the bands I'd still be like.
I would just like to troll people and post that I went and saw Nickelback.
I'd go see Nickelback. I'm not going to fight that.
Yeah.
I know their songs. There's a lot of concerts I go to off of just one song, and I don't know
Spider-Man
the
You
artist.
one song by Nickelback.
Which
you
one?
know their
Which
whole
one?
albums.
Which one?
I'm telling you right now.
You'd have to show me. All I know is the bottom of the bottle. Drinking. One song that they don't pick. I don't know what the name of the song.
in the bottle.
Photograph.
You don't know that one?
Every time I
I'm
look,
good.
it makes me laugh.
I'm gonna be a rock star.
I'm gonna be a rock star.
I'm not a leader of men.
Come on, dude.
Bottom of the bottle.
Just rub me the right
whatever.
way.
You would totally mosh to them. I know you would. Oh my gosh, BJ, stop smashing your shit.
He's not even drunk yet.
He's mad at
pulling
the
a
Nickelback
door.
conversation. The fact that they know the one song.
Nah, you'd be
Pull
all
up the
about it.
Spider-Man 2 hero song. That's their best one.
just-
And a hero was born.
Hero's gonna save us.
And listen, you gotta understand, I've done
Not
a lot of drugs since middle school, so I have forgotten a lot.
I'm be
of
honest.
things
I bet
in
you
my
already
life.
moshed to Nickelback. You don't
Sorry
even
about
know.
that. Do you know Photograph? You know
No,
Rock
no,
Star?
no. We're doing the hero song.
I know. I know. Where's the bottom of the bottle?
Best Spider-Man movie, though.
That's
best-
the first thing. That's the only one I know.
Of all the Spider-Man films, the one I really was wanting to see the least ended up being the best one.
Number one.
No, being the best Spider-Man film was the one that you remember I was complaining about because I didn't want to see it.
Go to the very first single.
It's the one you made me watch.
Didn't it make you watch all of them?
2001.
Huh?
The goddamn cartoon one.
You can't
Waylon.
whisper off mic, man.
I fucking bro.
I can't hear you. I have this in my ear, like
Bro.
whispering in my ear that has
Bro.
multiple plug-ins.
The one
I have
with the
fake
guy-
headphones on top of headphones.
Why are you inceptioning over here?
Yes.
Why is there an ostrich on the screen?
Freaking ads, man.
it's a
Getting
fucking
ad. You want to
emo.
know why he's getting ads? Because he doesn't have YouTube
He's a
Premium.
fucking emo.
Because he
Full
doesn't.
one-
Because PJ doesn't support censorship,
Pull,
Waylon.
pull one ear off, guys, so you can hear this.
I don't have to pull off shit.
This ad is so low.
Hit skip ad. That's not even Nickelback. That's Chad Kruger.
Cougar.
That's his name.
Copyright strike immediately.
YouTube, don't listen to this. YouTube, don't listen to this.
You don't know this one?
I watched the Karate Kid show.
We can't play this.
Hero can save us, not gonna fly you away. He's an eagle, watching all fly away. I like how he just randomly throws like stupid American stuff like wings of an eagle, freedom. It's like an early 2000s like country song.
No, I don't remember the song.
So full of shit.
I told you, I know the song "Bottom of the Bottle."
Wow.
Whatever the song that
Of
is.
all the Nickelback songs, that's the one that makes the most sense for you.
I just know that one.
I like how every video of theirs, though, is like the definitive early 2000s music video.
They were the pop. All right.
Man, you know, every time I don't
Just
know why.
waiting for
Every
the
time I hear
Fast and Furious
Nickelback, I
crew
think
show
of Hinder, and I think of Lips of an Angel.
Hinder pisses me off so much that girls love it. That hey, the guy's cheating on you. I love that song.
It's really good to hear.
That literally
your voice
represents current
saying
culture.
My name, it sounds so sweet. Coming from the
Lips of an angel.
It makes me weep.
Listen,
ladies.
I'm not gonna lie to you
Can't
guys.
say it, girl.
In the 2000s, I did not listen to shitty fucking music.
Oh,
I'm
damn.
So
sorry.
that happened in the 2010s for
You
David.
listen to ICP.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
the
listened to
definitive
some
shitty. That fuck ICP.
So
Anyone
mean.
that's
me-
listening to this that's an ICP fan, sorry, but fuck ICP.
They didn't get this far. They checked out during.
All right, well, in
Chuck
that,
Norris
in
and
that
stuff.
in that case, fuck you for liking
Bruce
ICP.
Lee.
But I
Like
was
whatever
in the metal.
you
I was
wanna
in the
like.
hard metal back then and hardcore ska punk. So I did not listen to none of that.
He was
Like-
a no FXer.
Oh, me
offense,
too.
I was a choking victim.
Dylan is
person.
Dylan is
Were you gonna call him a slut?
David is slowly losing respect for us.
This is the two.
apparently.
This is the two bands I listened to.
Did you like
really
Bad
back then.
Brains?
This is the two bands I listened to back then. Leftover Crack and Choking Victim.
And Blink-182.
I thought you said you were a choking victim. I
No,
was
that's
like,
the name of the band.
He likes to be a choking.
Now, listen, I can show you one of their songs. Just go to Atheist Anthem by Choking Victim.
Did you like Anti-Flag?
Yeah, who did?
Black Flag?
I didn't like
Yeah.
Anti-Flag.
No.
They didn't have actual melodies and stuff. It was annoying.
Atheist
Well, it's called
Anthem.
punk music.
Didn't like it.
Did you like
look at this.
Bad Brains?
No,
Nope.
click that one. Bad Brains.
Eye Against Eyes is a dope song.
Do the very top one with the lyrics. And listen to the lyrics. This is the stuff I listen to. Your sister loves it, man. I
Does she?
I take her to see
Does
it every
she?
time we go in.
She didn't watch anything and listen to anything until you came along.
Yeah, we went and saw them 4 times already. This is called Atheist Anthem. One
My
of
sister
favorites.
just likes like people having a good time at a live concert.
No, she looks at the lyrics. She was like, she doesn't like what they're talking about.
Well,
in the
not only
lyrics,
that, but she likes to yell at them like.
She likes
while they're trying to
atmosphere.
listen.
That's what she likes.
but she
And all you hear
likes
in the
them.
background is like. And
It's
she's
funny.
just over here like.
It's
in the
about
background.
start. So they what they talk is more anti-government stuff. What they talk about back then happening now is actually what's happening. And
Isn't
it's
that funny?
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So Jennifer listened to him like, oh my god, that's what you listen to when you're in middle school. Like, yep. Yeah, it's a long intro, and then he just goes off right here. And this, they got me on YouTube doing a front flip off the stage with these guys.
No.
Anytime that drum beat comes into play, I'm out. I don't like the punk drum beat. I hate it.
No. You were never into that culture though.
Like I'm like, no, I'm done.
See,
Don't give me
that's
speed
what I listened
beats.
to during the whole Nickelback era. You guys is begging me.
I mean, I got
So-
into this kind of music because this is what was playing at the skate parks.
Yeah,
So
okay,
whether
you don't
you
have
wanted
to
to
listen
listen
to
to this or not, it was playing.
I never was a fan.
So they have an album called Fuck World Trade, and it's them controlling 2 remote controls going to the World Trade Center after 9/11, and it's fucking hilarious. That's why I
I
listened
think we get it. Yeah.
So that's why I didn't listen to Nickelback and Your Hinders.
Well, guess what?
Hinder was later
It's
on.
really
Nickelback was
good to
before that,
hear
obviously.
your voice.
Hear my name.
So you do understand why I don't know.
So
I
Most
don't
of the
blame
stuff
you for
you're
not
talking
listening to
about.
that, but we are part of
For the
culture,
lips of
okay?
an angel.
Back then there was no,
It was like in every radio, and like I couldn't get away from it.
none of this was on the radio, so I never listened to the radio.
Like when I was that kid listening to Disney. Was it Disney? What was
Radio
it?
Disney.
Radio Disney.
Yeah.
Like I was that kid.
Okay,
so
okay.
so instead of getting to hear like. What's his name? Weird Al Yankovic. Instead of getting to hear the original version
He
of
was never on. Was he on Disney Radio?
oh yeah, the Star Wars
Seriously?
one when Episode 1 came out.
No joke.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Weird Al was like very popular on Radio Disney.
The best was listening to Kids Bop with Kaylee and her getting
Dude,
out of Kids
you know,
Bop.
how did I tell you? I was like, will y'all please stop buying her this album? I was like, please stop buying her Kids Bops. And they're like, why? I'm like, can you please just buy the actual artist? Like, this pisses me off when you give a cover album
fucking
because you think it's
horrible.
going to be nicer. Like, just give her the actual album. You're ruining her ears.
I'm glad she's in 21 Pilots. I'm glad she went.
Yeah,
there. I'm so glad.
it bugged the crap out of me that it's like, oh, she was getting into Kids
Wait,
Bops.
Kids Bop's still going?
It's
Yes.
going strong.
Dude, the hardest part is not letting her listen to my music. Because when I was her age, I was listening to this stuff. I was like, let me just show
Dude,
her
I'll
a
be
little bit
driving-
more. She's
I'll
like,
ju-
no. I'm like, okay.
I'll be driving in the car and like Bring Me the Horizon, something comes on. I'm like, I want to listen to it so bad. And she's like listening, and I'm like, I'll let it go. And then like 5 F words, I'm like, fine, I'll change it. like I was just like, I'm trying to be a good
I mean,
guy
at this
here.
at her age, I was listening to like Swedish black metal.
Well, that's the
and stuff.
thing is, it's nice because she's at that age now where
Yeah.
I can actually start like letting that seep in the
Yeah.
background where it's not because I mean I already heard this stuff when I was at that age.
Yeah. She's getting
Look at
her
me. You know what I mean? I'm not a terrible person.
Yeah, you're dressed like a weird, you know.
I'm not a bad guy. You
My-
know, but I'm a bad guy.
own. My dress attire is not the best.
I'm sorry,
but
he is
goddamn it.
pulling off the hat. Pulling it off.
He's
That
pulling
is-
something
dude,
all
Dude,
right.
I've been able to pull off this hat
Ew.
since day one.
I love that fucking hat.
When we lost PJ on the boat, we
Yeah.
talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
I'd put that hat on you naked.
But
Anyway, back to the little kids.
yeah,
Put
back to
headphones
being
on.
like a little spoiler.
Great segue.
Well, like like first movie you got to watch rated R. How
I
old
was
were you?
5 years old, and my mom went to work, and I put in a VHS of Goodfellas.
Mine was Matrix. I got to watch Matrix 1
I don't even
when
fucking
I
know.
was like I think 10, 11, or 12 is right around there.
I assume Die Hard would have been.
Oh, fuck! Best Christmas movie ever made.
Had to be one of my first rated R movies. I think. I don't
Agreed.
even know, dude. I've seen so many fucking rated R movies as a kid.
Same.
My parents were fucking horrible.
See, I was
bad.
just really good at getting away with things, so I would find a way to watch rated R movies.
Well, anytime y'all bring up like, oh, you ever seen Godfather yet? Dude, I'm telling you right now, there were so many times my dad was watching Godfather growing up. I was told to leave the room. So in my mind, I never watched Godfather all the way through. I would always catch scenes, and then he would realize I was watching, so he would tell me to leave the room.
The first time I seen Godfather all the way through had been like 25. But I knew every
I was
scene.
in 7th grade when
Always
I saw
told
it.
to leave the room.
It was such a long movie at the time. It wasn't comfortable. Like, I can't say fucking 3 hours. That was back when I was like, I gotta go do
that was a
something
long,
else.
dude. Lord of the Rings is probably the first like where I could sit through
Waylon.
and be attracted to it all the time. You know what I mean? Where I'm like watching on it constantly.
It was really once I turned down all the drugs and I was able to just actually sit through a movie for 3 hours.
I think we're good on the
We're waiting on your pour. Why aren't we getting your pour?
Because I was going to pour for him, and then the lid was still on. And then I was like, maybe we should hold off.
Hey,
See,
this
they
is
could
on
see
video.
that. I
this is
couldn't
on
see that.
fucking video and I missed it.
Aw.
I'm start talking like this now too.
Hey, you want to explain how mad you were at us the last podcast?
Dude, oh yeah, I didn't even get to bring it up to this man.
We're like chiming. He's gonna finish a whiskey before you get one poured.
Oh, and don't forget about Army Hammer. That's who you were talking about last podcast.
That's my
you son
boy.
of a bitch. God damn it. I was so mad at everybody that you couldn't bring up Highlander. The fact
Dude,
that
he got
Highlander
so
does-
mad. Our podcast without him.
Wait. He was in Highlander?
No, you're talking about fucking Christopher Lambert. You couldn't think of the movie he was in. It was like Highlander. That's what you were talking about.
And then I was like, oh, I haven't heard about Highlander in a long
Dude,
time.
there's
There's
a-
apparently a
there's
TV
a
show that's been
TV
going for
show
3
for 3
seasons.
He ranted about our first video podcast for like an hour yesterday.
because I was fucking mad
That we were wrong about
the
everything.
fact that you didn't bring up Gary Oldman and fucking True Romance. Talk about his best fucking scene.
He
You're
commented on our
Gary
YouTube
Oldman on this.
video.
Oh, I did. I put a comment on the YouTube. I was gonna call Waylon so fucking bad. I was like, you didn't. You're talking about what's his name? Army Hammer. He's supposed to be a Batman too before. Fuckface guy, or not fuckface, but before Christopher Nolan and them took over. But they had his whole faceable and everything. His fucking jawline looks good with that mask on, bro.
Yeah.
I know.
It's all about the
everything.
jawline. That's why I was like,
Dude.
what's his name?
Armie
Pattinson.
Hammer? Oh.
Robin Pattinson. He has a good jawline. I think he'll do fine.
Yeah, there's so much stuff I had to talk about. You'll hear it in the podcast.
I won't ever listen to it, so.
You have to chime in later
Yeah.
on.
Dude,
Dude,
I-
anytime I see
Utter
Dylan
defiance.
any links to our podcast, he doesn't respond.
Yeah.
He doesn't want his family to know. He straight up shuns us.
I show everybody.
He shuns us.
I was gonna show your parents one day, but then I was like, maybe that's a little too much.
Yeah, they probably don't need to hear this part
Nah,
of
they
y'all's
don't.
voices.
They
Are you
don't.
talking about when he plays the drug dealer in that one movie with
Yes,
the dreads?
the fucking
yeah, that was fucking
Rastafarian, you
awesome.
son of a
Yeah.
bitch. He's talking about Gary Oldman. I was like, oh, he played Detective Gordon. I was like, he was a fucking white Rastafarian.
I was talking to them about Detective Gordon because these dipshits haven't seen any movies. So if I'm going to bring up a Gary Oldman movie, it's going to be one I know they've seen.
And I was just like, dude, if any other actor did that fucking character, would have been racist. But he did it so goddamn
Well, it's
good.
kind of like our
I
Robert
posted
Downey
it on
Jr.
your
playing a
YouTube.
black dude.
I posted on your YouTube comments. Look at them on your.
I don't read the comments, bro.
You'll
There's too
read
many
mine.
of them. I don't read them.
You'll read
I don't want that
6?
negativity.
Yeah, we had 5 on the
Oh,
podcast.
I overshot.
Oh man.
Oh, speaking of commenters, so me and PJ and Dylan, we made a music video, right? We released the music video, and there's this one guy in California who decides to make a comment. He straight up just puts awful. That's all he
Oh my
puts.
God.
He doesn't give explanation or anything. He
Yes.
just thinks he's that cool of a dude to go awful.
Who the fuck is this
Like,
guy?
why even comment? You're the only dude commenting, and
Oh,
you're
yeah, do
just
your
putting
job,
awful.
David.
Period.
Who is
Do
he?
your job. We talked about it yesterday.
Who the fuck is he?
He's in California, a long hair looking guy, probably plays D&D. I don't know. What
Don't
he's
you
saying.
play D&D?
I would if I had a good group.
Hello, Mr. California man. I'm coming for you.
Goatee, long
You heard
hair.
it here first.
That's all he's doing. He
Prosecutors.
just comments on there. Out of everyone there's like, I like it. And you got this one guy that's like, awful. I didn't realize we had haters, but hey,
Mr. Awful.
listen, Mr. Hater, honestly, if you're following us, thank you. Because like,
Yeah.
for us to get a negative comment when nobody watches the videos, that's pretty great.
Mr. Awful, I'm coming to fuck you.
We probably got up to like 2,000 to 4,000
Right.
views on that video. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, people watched it.
You mean that half-ass video that we put together in
No,
one
no, no,
day?
no, no,
Hold on,
Dylan,
hold
don't
on,
give
hold
away
on.
the magic.
Hold
I
on.
was thinking about this for a week.
Something we threw together in a quarantine.
Which
And
was
he
magical.
took the time to look it up and disrespected.
Somehow
Yeah.
I think it's because of one of our sponsored posts, and he likes similar things. Something he straight up goes on.
Me and Jennifer.
To even go out of your way for a band that's trying to make their way to go.
So he's
awful.
basically the comic book guy from Simpsons.
I thought PJ
Right.
knew him. I had to look at the guy's photo and stuff. I'm like, do we know this guy? I was thinking it was someone trolling us. It's actually a negative guy. An actual negative comment.
Me and Jennifer went deep into that video. We're like, I think PJ killed himself.
I'm going to be honest. It went deeper
Like,
than I thought it was.
Dude,
Dylan.
me and Jennifer went deep in. She's like, is PJ alright? Like,
Dylan.
Dude, I think he killed himself for the video.
Our
like,
friend-
The whole point is him killing himself and then Waylon freaking out that he's not there no more.
Dude, people
went
are
further than what we thought.
Did I not say I am the walrus the whole time
Dylan.
we're making it?
Dylan, what does Seven of Hearts mean?
I will not
It can mean
confirm
anything.
in said podcast.
It means little joy. Alyssa pointed it out, and I was like, holy. And she actually listens to our podcast. But PJ was...
I don't know.
He's
anything.
known.
No, I don't know anything about Seven
He's
Hearts.
going to BS it. He's known for a while.
You know what he does know about?
What?
Brett and Owen Hart and
What's
their
he-
great wrestling feud in 1994.
Segwayer. Dude, you're about to get a new nickname.
It's going to be...
How is that again,
It's
David?
going to be... That's your name.
Caesar.
But people
Your
are,
name's noises.
people are thinking there's more going on in that video than we actually thought about.
It
Was
was.
that not my plan?
That's how we planned it
Was
out.
that not the
Yeah.
plan?
I mean, we wanted it to be deep. It got real deep. You know?
Do I look like the man with a plan? I'm
Got
just a
real deep
dog
and
chasing
dark.
cars.
I was like, I don't think PJ's going to kill himself. But if he does, that's a nice computer he got.
Well,
I wouldn't use a Mac, so I'd give it to you.
Dude, this computer is probably worth so much money.
Yes.
I got so many things on it. Like, that's crazy.
yeah, so many things.
Even with his broken screen with all of his punches and travels to
Dude,
California.
I broke that screen because I dropped it leaving your place the year I left.
You know what's the worst is when you get something new and you drop it immediately. Like my first guitar, my Epiphone. Like my mom was talking to me about that. She was like, "Was that there before?" Because I'm still leaving it at the parents' house, and she's like, "Was that there before, or did we do that?" Like she was thinking Kaylee did it or something. I was like, "No, Mom, I did that the first day I got the guitar." She was like, "I mean, you could like paint over it." I was like, "No. I leave it there because it makes me laugh." Like
And that's a good way to look at life. Just leave
I
the
broke the
scars.
guitar. I paid in $400 for that.
Right.
And that was a lot of money to me at that time. That was my graduation money. I didn't use that for college. I used it to buy into what I wanted to do for my life.
Yeah.
And I drop it literally the moment I put it on. Like I got one of the fancy straps, big old leather, big old belt strap that looks like you could have it as a UFC belt or something.
Right.
And I put it on that strap, and the strap didn't hold because it's leather. You have to let it build into it.
Yeah.
And so the moment I hooked it in, it fell to the ground and it broke the bottom half of my guitar. And I left it there because it makes me laugh. I was pissed, and then it just makes me laugh.
I remember this.
And it was like paint over it. I'm like, I'm not gonna paint over it. It's funny. Like I dropped the first day. I was like, wait, this is my life.
I'm going to do that exact same thing the first time I have a kid. The very first
Just
day,
drop
oh
it.
my God. Waylon said leave it.
Terrible.
I'm gonna throw a 3-minute warning up on this podcast, so get all your stuff
Speaking
out
of
now.
Why are you trying to
comments.
ruin stuff, PJ?
So,
We're going well. We're going strong.
PJ's boy Dan Harmon
Can you explain who Dan Harmon is real quick?
I love Dan
He's
Harmon.
the guy
If you don't know who Dan
he's-
Harmon is,
He's the guy that wrote Rick and Morty and Community.
What I don't watch. Go ahead.
Hence why I said his boy.
my
Not-
boy. My
Yeah,
boy.
You know,
Hi,
Rick and Morty
America.
pisses me off. No, it doesn't. I don't really care about it.
Anyways, so he had like a quote unquote Twitter rant not that long ago, responding to someone criticizing him on Twitter,
Was
which
it racist
happens.
Twitter,
Was it me?
Was
Was it
it
one of my
racist?
aliases?
Don't
right? Those
know.
are the racist ones.
But anyways, so like he has like a thing where like he'll like get like a group together and basically do what we're doing now, but in front of a live audience. And he basically
Ouch.
yeah. And,
Just so we don't have an audience? Is that what you're trying to say?
woo!
Zing.
But anyways, like, so he's like, reading reading this article about like how he's like a bitter man, and just like reading the thing, and it's pretty funny. But when he gets to the comment sections, oh, it's comedic gold, because like he's like critiquing these people's criticisms of him, and there's like a 4-paragraph one where like half of the words are spelled wrong, which he'll pronounce the way they're wrongly spelled. So like instead of ladder, it's latter. And just, I'm going to show it to you later, but fucking A.
That's funny.
Top 5 shoe jokes, PJ, go. Number
Hey, what is that
5.
shoe there? What are those?
Alright.
You know what I like about this bottle?
I like how it says the original as opposed to like all the other knockoff like whiskeys that are in gold bars.
You know what I like about this bottle?
What?
You can't see how much I've drank on a live podcast like you did on Devil River. If you go watch the other live one, you just see it go.
We can also kill somebody with that.
It's pretty cool. I don't know what we'd use it for, but PJ's like, we're going to use it in one of our short videos.
Well, I'm
but
not
I'm
gonna
just
lie.
like, I'm not completely sure.
Well, we can use it as cursed Aztec gold. But anyways,
Movie coming. I don't know. I'm not going to be in a. I already told him I don't want to be in a.
you don't want to
loincloth.
be. Oh.
We already talked about this. He was already like, let's do a loincloth video. I'm like, I'm not doing a loincloth video.
What's up with
Again.
you and
That is
loincloth?
not. That is not how that conversation went.
No, but like this is a frequent occurrence with
No,
you, man.
it is not.
You love to talk about.
No, it
Guys,
is
we
not.
should do this video naked.
What I said was.
Toga party.
I'll direct it.
I already have whiskey.
What
I'm
I
not
said-
pouring more.
What I said was we're
Stop
gonna.
it,
I
William.
remember when you brought up a toga party last week. So I mean,
What I said was we're gonna do a
Just
video
y'all three?
where we start de-evolving to
I'll
the point
direct
where
it.
we're all sophisticated
Hey.
and then we're dumb at the end. And he went to loincloth, and I was like, I
Hey.
didn't even say that.
We have the best 3-person parties, David.
Enough
Just because
pieces
you
go
haven't
around.
stuck
and,
around
and,
for all
and
of them.
I have the best one-person debates.
The fact that the three of us in a room can make a whole party happen tells you something, because normally we have maybe 10, 15 more
We have
people.
we have enough
It's-
personalities to go for
it's-
20 people.
But because of the three of us, we can
The
keep each
power
other
of
entertained
friendship.
all the way until like 4 or 5 in the morning and keep going. But we're like, we honestly should sleep.
Oh, dude, when we got that, like last time I saw you, when we got like retarded, like I was about to pass out asleep, and then we went to Whataburger, and
I felt
we stayed
guilty
up-
for the other time where PJ was super about going to Whataburger and I said no, and he was like a little kid all sad, and my sister kept interrupting him,
went off to go call all of his exes, and then we ended up calling each other's exes.
and then they called each other.
Oh god, that'd be so good.
But,
We talked about loincloths and everything.
I was like, fine guys,
Don't
we'll go to
remember that.
Whataburger because I feel guilty. I see PJ's puppy face in my eyes.
On that note, hey, this has been fun. Podcast 10.
Look at this guy cutting this off before we're
Yeah,
even actually done.
Yeah, he's just mad that this is the roasting of PJ
He has, to,
podcast.
he has to go collect
You
the
gotta
little
know when to
PJs.
fold them. So
he, has to go, he has to become the one.
Oh, rest in peace. Too soon,
I didn't
bro.
think we'd make it to 10. So blah 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 blah.
Did you think we would have died during the quarantine?
Yes.
Fuck
You thought we were that
Okay.
bad about our procedures? Dude,
No,
I spray down that door when we come through. Like, if you come through, I spray it down with my white outfit.
Yeah, it's
I wish
true.
I had one. I
You
don't
have a
have
cat in hand, that's all that matters.
one.
Captain Hatton whiskey to that.
Captain Hat whiskey.
Right.
Like,
Goodbye.
that's literally been
See
our
you on
quarantine.
podcast 11.
Because we actually got to experience the actual quarantine, unlike Dylan and David, because they were working and being essential.
Being
You
essential.
know, that
I'm American,
JLB.
goddammit.
Everybody wave to the camera.
Everyone's taking off their things,
Bye.
but I'm still going strong.
He's gonna keep
We're wrapping
he's
it
gonna
up.
keep talking.
Anyways, let's talk about
America.
Just cut him off.
Let him keep going.
You paused it, right? Oh, this is awkward.
Let's
I was
go.
gonna start talking about